I'm just gonna do that, and I'll do the announcement, let people kind of filter in. Everything just falling over in the background.
I realized I use my water bottle as a phone stand, and I need that.
I can finally ping Viscose streams in the raw input. Server.
Very nice.
Welcome. I'm on the artisan dots at the moment, David.
So I actually do want to ask you, do you think the artisan dots aren't that compatible with like super smooth pads?
I don't know, because like obviously I mostly use Zero. Raiden was okay with them, but it's not really super smooth, is it?
That's what I'm thinking, is that like the Raiden was my first thought for like, no, it definitely works with that pad. But when you get smoother than the Raiden, I guess there probably is like a bit of compatibility issues.
I guess so, because like and same thing with really firm pads, I feel, because that like, you know, pressure reduction doesn't work.
Really? I mean, I thought it was pretty good in the key.
Okay, firmer than the key then.
I see. Would it work with like a plastic hard pad?
Well, can we say?
I don't think so. What about your desk? How does it feel?
God
No.
awful.
Okay. Lesson learned.
Welcome everyone. Anima, thank you for the 2-1.
Hi, Anima.
Hi, my first time in your stream. Welcome. I got my 0 today. Congrats. What do you think? Welcome to the end game of mouse pads.
Actually, this is the beginner mouse pad for people who need training wheels.
What counts as like not training wheels?
I mean, obviously glass. The most free.
No, but the Skypad is slow compared to the Beast.
Shit. If you don't use the Ninja Rat Mat, you're using training wheels.
Gabs Insolente. Thank you for the prime sub. Mic volume up a bit? Okay. Is that better? Can you hear us both?
Hello,
all right?
hello.
I'll do that. Get some fucking friends, cunt. JD, you were the highlight of that video. That was good. That was so good. Little quiet. I'm gonna do it here then. Which
It's left knob. Bop, bop.
is that better?
Hello.
Test. Okay. We're probably still quiet if anything, but that's all right.
That's nice. Let's go. Thank you. Thank you.
That's good. Okay. Hi, Viscose. You once told me that your pivot point was your elbow on your chair arm on a sock and that your forearm was hovering above the pad. I was wondering the palm. Yeah, so I'd say it starts like just below my wrist. That's all making contact along with my palm. So just not like my upper forearm, I guess. Is that lower or upper forearm? Yes, I am an Aussie. Did the more natural talking give it away than like YouTube reads? I'm curious actually.
Or maybe it was the exaggerated read of JD's message. Only way you can tell. I kind of wish I used the armrest, to be honest.
You don't like it though, right?
I can't. I think most people can't. But if I could, then I wouldn't have this like ridiculous sleeve search, you know?
Babble, your message got caught by Twitch. You got blocked. I probably won't say that on YouTube unless I'm making a joke about like being Australian, but we're in episode 8. I think we're gonna record it tomorrow.
Hello there, yeah. Featured in Maddie OW video.
True.
Famous Amer. Textbook technique.
Yunzo Deo, hello.
I was gonna say. Does anybody here use the Carpio? It's like a little piece of plastic with skates on it that you attach to your wrist.
Does anyone here know what the Carpio is? Might be a better question. Paints, thank you for the tier 1. Hey, Moki. Semi-synthetic fiber made from natural sources. Fuck yeah. Look what's 10% off.
Is
I
this
was
in the
waiting for
Rolly
it to
Strolley?
load.
Is this Rolly Strolley posting this?
Yeah, I think so.
He got one and it was like the most wrinkly pad I've ever seen. Did you see that image?
That was that one?
Yes.
I'm not buying that for $100. Hello, have either of you gotten to try the blade yet? So I got sent one actually. Very excited, mostly for Pingu actually.
Really? I thought you were gonna try it.
I am gonna try. I'm gonna give it a proper go, but I feel like you might actually made it. I don't
You
think
think
there's
so?
a chance that I made it, but
I think my one potential gripe with that mouse is that it's designed with his exact grip in mind and like nothing else.
yeah.
So I think
it's gonna be tricky.
I think it probably won't work for me. We shall see though.
I'm keen to try regardless.
Yeah,
Like,
me too.
It'll be interesting to really commit to fingertip grip now, especially because I use my fingertips now.
Well, you should talk about what happened with the one that you tried.
Oh my god, so you have this mouse that's like the OP1 cut in half. I tried using it and one, my fingers felt completely locked in place actually, and two, it gave me the worst hand pains I've ever had from aim training. I couldn't hold a mouse for an hour after. So there is a chance I just won't be able to use the Zero mouse, which would kind of suck, but
I think it won't be as bad as that one.
I agree. How long did it take you to stop using only wrist and aiming? My brain is hardwired to use wrist only. So for arm, I kind of built that habit for myself. I used to play really low sense and then I played really high sense. And when I did each, I would only use one. And I just had to play a bit more low sense after playing high sense again, but not crazy low, just 50 cm, bit of static on slow sense. And that really got me feeling more confident and comfortable using my arm, which then led to more arm integration. Did you solve your black screen issue? I think so. So, you mentioned Event Viewer, and we looked in Event Viewer, and it had this weird error message I'd never heard of that occurred right before my PC shut off. And I looked it up. There's this random Microsoft post, not from a Microsoft employee, just some guy. He's here's this regedit file, run it and it'll fix the problem. And I ran it, nothing to lose, and it fixed the problem. I think so.
Knock
we'll
on
see
wood.
if I just eat my words this stream.
If this stream disappears, it probably is the computer exploding.
Yeah. And it works so far. It's been 2 days? Gyro aiming. I have actually played on gyro a little. And it went okay. I got, I think, a couple Jade scores for tracking pretty quickly. So mouse skill does seem to translate to gyro to some extent, which is cool. I'm sure they would ship it flat. I don't trust it.
Do you know I'm struggling with the back end for my benchmark? How do you learn that shit? You gotta play
I haven't.
a few thousand hours of Blade and Soul. Lead a guild to make a really over the top spreadsheet, and so suddenly you start learning. You start seeing through the matrix.
Mama, thank you for the tier 1. Thank you. Do you have to hit up B or something?
She actually did the same
probably
thing.
do it. She probably could.
We're cut from the same cloth. I can help you if you need, though. Cringe, what the hell?
Oh, look, Capio user.
I'm probably the only one. Actually, I'm pretty sure Snowy, the old Kovacs player, also uses it, but he's kind of missing. Yeah, what do you think of it? Just give me your review. It's always been something I've been interested in, but never wanted to commit because it's kind of a commitment, yeah.
You could try putting taskbar only on your second monitor instead of having it hover. So does that mean I wouldn't be able to use it on my main monitor ever? Because with my setup, up to about here on my main monitor, I can't, on my second monitor, sorry, I can't see. And on my other install, I have all the icons over here, so I can't see them on my second monitor. But yeah, I fucking hate hover taskbar. I hate it so much.
That's rough.
You're not using the WLAN skiing anymore? I'll show you what I got actually. That'll do. So I got the Ying. Oh, it's so blurry. I got the Ying. I got the Black Lotus, and I got the TJX base mod for the OP1W. It's not that bad on this one. And this is what I'm using the most, but like I use the Ying when I play games a lot, and I think it might be my preferred one for like, you know, Battlefield or Call of Duty. Black Lotus is okay. I'm not going to go into this discussion. I have a video planned on it, but like all of the mouse, not just the Black Lotus.
I had a funny encounter with the people who made the Black Lotus, where I saw they sent me a DM and I knew Laura was about to get a Black Lotus. So I took a photo of me holding the mouse and then responded to the DM. So as soon as they were like, hey, we have this mouse called the Black Lotus. Do you want to test it? I just sent them the photo of me holding it.
You can drag and drop it back to your monitor. I will give it a look. That actually does sound pretty good.
That's pretty cool actually, yeah.
Old/new Hayate Otsu. So
is it the conductive threads?
yeah, there was one person who like swore that the new Otsu was like horrible, unusable. I don't know. There was when I first used it, I thought it was like, wow, this is really bad. I really don't like this mouse pad. Then I tried it again, and it was okay, but I don't really have a one-to-one comparison because I have an Otsu V2 soft and an Otsu V1 X soft in red. So they could just be like completely different because of the color, for all I know. Let alone base firmness.
I really didn't like it for one. It felt slower than the Zero to me. You just got that ready?
We're on the same wavelength, chat. Saints FPS, thank you for the Prime sub. Sleeve. These sleeve discussions are not my expertise. You can take it away there.
If I had to recommend only one sleeve for maximal compatibility, it would be the Kibu sleeve. KIBU. I've had the most success with that one. Doesn't work on the Zero though. I don't think anything does.
Letheria, I touch on it in my artisan video. The orange Zero is like slightly rougher, slightly faster, and I think better balanced. I think the black Zero has like higher relative static friction. It's not that noticeable, but you could convince me that like they are different mouse pads, and I don't think you could do that for like orange Raiden to brown Raiden, for example.
Started using the Carpio when I got my SkyPad 3.0, and the main reason was her sweaty hands. I recommend to try it, but it will mess up because stopping is not that easy. Yeah. I still use it and wish that I could live without it. Interesting. So you kind of regret that you've developed this reliance on it.
How long does it take to freaking get a new pad? It's gonna depend on the pad, really. I gotta blow my nose, 1 sec. Okay, so which video would people like to see first because I think we're going to do both shimmy video and tension management video. But there is a chance that like I will get too tired and whatever video is second will just not like be watched today.
Wow, I think you got this. Lock in.
Shimmy, tension.
We should do a poll.
True, actually. Okay. Alright, VDI. Tension VDI.
VDIM mentioned?
Sure.
Is LG in the chat? Seeing Stell in the comments reminded me that we got like our first AI commenter, I think, where she responded to my finals post from like May 23rd, and a bot, I think, says, "You're amazing, Stell. Your hard work truly makes a difference." Which she was just saying something nice to my video.
Oh, well, that's nice at least. At least it's not like one of the fucking evil reply bots that just spam hate nonsense.
True though.
I've been a long time YouTube watcher. I just wanted to thank you for the content. Well, thank you. I've been thinking about buying the PG27 AQDP monitor. Any advice? It is good. The new 500Hz ALED from MSI, I think, is definitely better.
Interesting.
It has DisplayPort 2.1, which will mean you don't need compression to actually output 1440p 40Hz, so it'll have less bugs and just offer a way more consistent like experience overall. So if you can get that at the same price, I would go that. But personally, if it's like a $200 price difference, I wouldn't pay the $200. I think 100 more is all I would pay.
Does it have a BFI?
I don't know, but no OLED has really implemented BFI well yet. Well enough to care. It should be possible.
That's why I'm curious though.
But they haven't done it, so...
That was like one of the coolest things about it for me.
So fucking cool, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
PG27 AQDP does have BFI. But I mean like a properly implemented, like, same frame fade off instead of just like...
Oh, I see. So not having the refresh rate.
Yeah.
Is that
It
possible?
should be possible, I think.
Interesting.
I think. I don't see why it wouldn't be.
It didn't feel that good to me though. The ULMB.
Yeah, it was annoying. How's that PC doing? It's doing okay. I'm only having performance issues on 2 games now, and I know what the fix is. And the like black screening seems to be fixed, and I'm really hoping I don't eat my words this stream, but it seems to be good. It hasn't crashed at all.
I am still using the Q83. I think I'm gonna have another glass arc soon. I busted out a pad that I liked for a while, but recently it's not been feeling so good. But the Q83 is always consistent for me.
Since I've gotten asked about this a lot, actually, I'll answer this now. I think the OP1 V1 and V2 are basically the same. The V2 is better objectively. It has more LED options. It has like more stuff in the software. It has a better sensor. I don't really care about any of that, right? But it is nice. Dustproof encoder is good. I know people have had issues with their scroll wheels dying. Shouldn't happen. The only actual difference I've noticed in use is the scroll wheel itself. It's a lot heavier, more defined steps. Some people will really like it. I'm kind of neutral, and I think you don't like it.
I'm okay with it. I was about to ask, like, if somebody was like a B-hop man, would you recommend the OP1, aka V2 or
Good
V1?
question. Maybe V1.
Yeah. Aside from that, I agree though.
How did you get that emote, JD?
Isn't that like copyright infringement?
It's in my chat now.
Is Rabbids a Mario property, or is Mario v Rabbids just like a crossover thing? Isn't that what it is, or is it
well,
Rayman?
I know it's in like Ubisoft's like Uno.
What?
Right?
What? I have tried the demo M5. Okay, this is actually a good place to test this theory. Has anybody used a Dharma Shark mouse and noticed like a smoothing effect to it? Like it feels floaty, not quite latency, but a lack of responsiveness.
Do I play Us? I've played like Relax a little, but I have a feeling that game would give me like turbo RSI. It would fucking destroy me.
I don't know if it'd be worse than GD, honestly.
Probably, I don't know, because like this is this hand, right? Maybe it'd be
You're thinking
okay.
aiming RSI.
I was thinking tapping.
Okay. You do have a second finger to offload some of the load, though.
True. No, Anima, that was all me. I haven't played much like since then. How do you address people claiming you cheat / use a Zim? The only time that was like really, really prevalent was back in like early finals. I had a lot of like rewazed accusations, and the game patched rewazed, and my skill did not change. So
Owned.
it kind of, did the talking for me. I don't think I've ever publicly addressed it because I don't think there's a reason to. If there's ever a Viscose exposed for cheating video, then I'll, I don't know, monitor cam or something.
Seems like I'm the only Dharma Shark conspiracy theorist. I think the M5 shape is really solid, and if the M5 Air sorts out the QC issues, it'll be pretty exciting.
Cyrus, thank you for the Prime sub, and thank you for the 700 bits resuns. What mousepad do you recommend for Counter-Strike? I like the Zero Soft, obviously. I think the Saturn Pro is a good shout. I think the Type 99 is a good shout. And there are a lot of good mousepads for CS, honestly. GSRC Rouge.
Do you think slow across the board, though?
Generally slow, and I find it harder to recommend speed pads. I know, like, I don't know, I've talked to Elige and Twists about the Raiden now, and both of them kind of iffy on it.
Interesting. Didn't Elige use IM speed for a bit?
He did, actually, but he found it more usable, I think.
Interesting, than the Raiden.
Zero mid. We all know you, Zimla. Don't tell them. Don't tell them. I'm a natural fingertip grip. Should I change for CS, or does it not really matter? I know Scream uses fingertip. I don't think it's like a hard limiter. I don't think it's probably a little bit worse. If for Counter-Strike, if you were to rate it like objectively or as close to objectively, I feel like that game relies a lot on stability, and you trade some of that off with fingertip grip, but it's not terrible, and you definitely don't need to swap.
I actually didn't know Scream used fingertip grip until I was researching it for this last video.
Can I use GPX too for fingertip? If you have fucking massive hands, then like, yeah, but I couldn't. I had to like palm it pretty much. Thank you, Cider, by the way, for the sub. Do you hold your mouse calm or tension? Oh, good timing, because like we got a whole video.
Let's go.
I'm actually gonna use that too. Start
Excellent
watching the
segue.
video. Yep, thank you. 23x11.
Okay. Maybe you can make it work.
That's crazy. If you use that ABA mod, I'm not familiar actually.
I think it's the maybe the 3D printed one. Have you seen that one, the GPX?
ABA mod GPX. Oh, is it that one?
Yes,
I've
that's
seen
the
this.
one.
It actually looks really cool.
This is like the most elegantly executed fingertip 3D printed mod, in my opinion.
agree,
It's
I
so
agree.
pretty. I don't think it'd be very. My issue would be the sensor position. I think if you don't hold it all the way at the back, you'd probably run into some trouble. The GPX did give me the worst pinky pain I've ever had from a mouse.
That one was really rough for me too, actually. I basically had to full palm it, and like it was okay when full palming, but you know, I had no fingertip adjustment. It was just like this. And yet no croissants. Jellies or chocolate? Definitely chocolate. Too much fucking... Oh my god, there are these ice creams called drumsticks, and I had forgotten how good they were. And you suggested to my mum like, hey, you should get some of these. And she came home with a box of like 16 of them. And they're so good. We have to like pace ourselves.
I was gonna buy them myself. They're too good.
Okay, I'm gonna let
Let's
the video
begin, let's
play
begin.
for a little. What is the difference between these two players' aim? Even though the one on the left is snappy and pretty flashy. How's the volume before I keep going? Are we good? Can you even hear it actually? Probably not. Good. I don't know how you can hear it. Okay.
That's funny. Something funny with the music in this part of the video. The first time I ever heard it, it's a Kevin MacLeod song. First time I ever heard it was in the Smash documentary, and I've reused it in the Voltaic as the rank, and I think this video and the next one, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't remember.
Maybe it's the
know.
other one.
It sounds like Harry Potter music. I said the same thing when you showed it to me for the guest hearing.
I go through a fuck ton of game OSTs for picking out the music. One of them is Kerbal Space Program. And I went through all of them like, oh, it's not quite right. But then we got comments anyway about there being KSP music in the video. I was like, I forgot they actually used Kevin MacLeod music in that game.
Okay, so just to double check, because I don't know how you all are hearing the video. You all can hear the video, right? Like it's audible right now? It's not hard to see their weaknesses. They're shaky. I don't know how. I don't know how. Okay.
All right.
I'm just sure. What is the difference between these two players' aim? Even though the one on the left is snappy and pretty flashy,
Thank you for the prime
it's not
signal.
hard to see their weaknesses. They're shaky on their micro corrections and lack smoothness. Their motions are very jagged. On the other hand, the one on the right is much calmer. They look in control of their crosshair and their motions much more seamless. The thing is, both these players are me. The left is from 3 years ago, the
that's
right
really
today,
obvious
and
now,
I'm a
actually.
much better.
What?
That is like a take from 5 Days Apart, and it sounds very obvious to me.
How many comments did you get about it?
0.
Yeah.
Is both these players are me. The left is from 3 years ago, the right today, and I'm a much better player for this change. But how did I go from a snappy style to a smooth one, and how did I do it without losing my flicking speed? I think the intro is okay. I don't think it's that strong.
I think it's pretty good.
But I don't know what else I could have really done. I can't think of anything better.
I think it sets up the effects of tension very well. I guess the only other way you could have gone about it is the fact
Maybe.
that tension has that kind of reputation.
Yeah, but I kind of do that after. And I also didn't want to copy Struth because I wrote this little segment in the video about like, you know, if you look up tension online, you scroll through Reddit.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then I watched Struth's video and he did the exact same thing. And I'm like, fuck, okay, I need to think of something else.
I'd be.
You guys won't believe what happened next. I think it's okay.
I think it's pretty good.
I think it is well edited though.
I think so too.
Very smooth.
I think the side by sides are always very compelling.
Thank
That's
you.
one of my favorite ways to do it as well.
I like how I put the little white bar in the middle. I don't know why, it adds a lot.
Mm.
Also, I use Premiere for anyone who asked. I saw a question earlier. Could have benefited from a cool dinosaur edit.
That's true.
Gotta
Which
find out
dinosaur would you
what it is.
pick?
Oh, fuck. You want me to name a dinosaur?
Yeah.
The... What, Stego?
Kind of basic. But we'll
Yeah,
take
we
it.
need a
Someone else said
widespread
Stego.
appeal.
You got pre-fired.
How the fuck?
What about the Diplodocus?
Oh,
Or is it Diplodocus?
I don't know.
I like that fella.
You people are like dinosaur experts. Would you recommend the Jade skates? I think my second favorite skate is the TBTL controls. They're faster than the speeds. I don't know why. And I could use them, which is saying something for most skates. I could not use them long term. I just put on artisan dots. I could use the TBTL controls. They're not as good, but they're pretty good.
Baryonyx is pretty cool. The first time I played Ark, we had a group of like 8 people, and there was a level like 80 Baryonyx just wiped out our entire like horde of dinosaurs on its own. But I agree. I think we're getting close to the point where jades are becoming tough to recommend.
I agree.
Almost.
I agree.
They're still
Especially
pretty
with
neutral,
like the
but-
ultra glides existing
Yeah.
that are better and cheaper. I don't know. An Arc session would be fun. Raw input server Arc server.
Laura and I both love that game, actually. I have like 600, 700 hours.
I have a good few too.
Yeah, you do. We definitely don't get sidetracked at all.
Here we go. I got 400.
Okay, maybe I don't have that much then.
Considering we never played online and only played single player, or at least I never played online.
Sorry, I just remembered that you and your sister never tamed the birds or like the pteranodons. You were like, what were they called? Like Pelagornis?
Yeah, I think so.
The slowest things ever.
But I liked them. They were really cute. They had like the long beaks and the like most gorgeous coats. Jade or RS for singularity. I would go Ren Sports, I think.
I actually quite liked hardened PTFE skates on that pad.
Okay.
It's rough enough to where they don't feel muddy, but it tanked the skate wear a little better for me. Okay, you're gonna have to explain burnishing at some point, Elin. Because reading that conversation at like 3 a.m., I'm like, yeah, I'll deal with this tomorrow. I don't know what Elin is saying.
Okay, I'm gonna play the video again. If you looked up how to improve your smoothness online, you'd probably find something. So this was the original intro, by the way. This was going to be the start of the video, but I realized like, yeah, this is copying Struth, so I couldn't do it. If you looked up how to improve your smoothness online, you'd probably find something about staying calm and keeping your muscles perfectly relaxed. Oh, that was
Oh,
really
This is
obvious
how
too,
most
actually.
people go
That was really
about
bad.
getting smooth aim, and it can work for some situations. However, this method of aiming smoothly has one
Oh.
massive
Fun fact for all of this footage. I fucking suck at like centering, thin gauntlet. I can play it, I get decent scores, but I look fucking so shaky and I don't know why. I get all of this footage of like smoothness stuff in my videos at like 100 cm. And I just
Well, so does everyone else.
fun.
So does everyone else.
I guess so. It's like normal sense. And when I need footage of like bad tension management, I'll just play on like 5 centimeters or something.
weakness. Your muscles are the things that make your aim fast. Relying on keeping them relaxed at all times for smoothness will massively limit your speed or your smoothness at higher speeds. I know this because I tried it. When I decided I wanted to make my aim smoother, I took this approach, but never got better at situations where I had to move quickly. The shakiness would come.
These clips are real though. This is actually my old gameplay.
Yeah, for the first like 3 days of this project, it was just you going through
Oh my
4-year-old
god,
footage.
it took so long because I wanted to find like really obvious whiffs, and I don't like. I definitely have them, but I don't save them, and my new ones probably aren't good enough for a broader YouTube audience to go like, yeah, that's a whiff. But my old ones, like obviously, I'm not gonna clip like me whipping a full mag, so yeah.
I'm right back. So, how can tension both be bad for smoothness and yet necessary for good aim? Firstly though, let's have a look at why people think you should keep your aim relaxed to begin with. Try placing your hand gently on the mouse and moving it side to side. And now try again while pressing down firmly on all of the buttons. Doing this requires increasing the tension in our fingertips, and it's pretty clear that movements are a bit more stepped when applying that downwards force.
Does this work? Firstly, if anyone's watched the video independently, did you actually do it when you were watching the video? And can you like see the difference or feel the difference in movement?
I like that. I like that. Let's go. That's big.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I have a sinister alternate motive with this stream. I've gotten a lot more comments than usual saying they didn't get it, that they just didn't understand the concepts. And I want to know if there's anything I could have done differently.
I've been saying that, like,
because I don't. I think it's fine.
I think it's good. I think that whenever you have anything that teaches anything and have it be relatively in depth, you're gonna get people who don't get it.
The concepts, Raven, like overall. With graphs, I introduced the tension graph pretty like later though. Thank you, Blue Jay. That's kind of where I am as well. I actually got a really funny comment on the video. What was it? This is like favorite YouTube comment I've gotten in a while. Where is it? This is straight burgers, full exclamation marks. This doesn't work.
It's like going to a tutorial video.
This is straight burgers. I actually laughed so much when I read that one. Ghost Cavalry, this is my tension management video. I uploaded it 3 weeks ago, I'm not sure. I guess trying to use some analogy. I do though. It's the running example.
Yeah.
Cartoon said maybe just like more analogies, just like stack them over and over. But I feel like at some point you got to think about like video pacing.
I agree.
Yeah, that's what the video actually is, Granger. I think it's just really hard to make the subject clear because of how subjective tension is. I agree, and I've had a lot of people kind of asking, like, do you feel it physically? Do you analyze your aim and see, like, oh, I'm too shaky, I must be too tense? And the problem is it's like, the answer is yes, you do all of these things. And I think people who try to take a very hardline look at the topic will be left confused if they're looking for objective answers about what to do. How much tension should I feel in my, like, wrist and upper forearm? I don't know. It is really personal and depending on what you're doing and dynamic. And I think that is a bit of a problem. For videos like mine anyway. But I try to explain it. Thank you, Raven. I'm kind of in the same boat. I think I don't know. At first I was very unhappy with myself. I'm like, oh, I should have formatted it differently, but, you know. Hover my mouse just above the mouse pad. I discovered that I do that sometimes, and I didn't know. Specifically the back of the mouse, it, like, creeps up into my palm when I try to adjust downwards.
That's cool.
And it's actually hovering at the back. Comfort and form, honestly, because it's so personal. It's why I haven't talked about like posture, yeah, because there's so much, and like I could never make a video saying like, yeah, my posture is the best, copy me, because like, one, I don't have a fucking degree in it or anything. Two, like, I obviously do abnormal things with my posture. You know, I use an armrest as support. Most people don't. And then there are other people like Twists, you know, who plays with a fucking head crab grip and it works. So I really don't know how to approach the topic of like ergonomics and posture and even mouse grip in like a... People, no, it's very weird. Everyone who has seen me play IRL has said like, wow, you're weird. So...
It's why older videos about posture are really frustrating to watch now. Because they just say, like, do this. This is what pros do. Do this. Try the dinosaur arm method. And, like, they don't ever substantiate their points at all. There was a TikTok, not a TikTok. It was a YouTube short I saw from a Valorant coach as well. Who was just like, I fixed her aim in 20 minutes. And it was just saying, like, grip this exactly how I grip it. You'll notice that it's better. And then he just does that 3 times and the video ends.
Oh my god.
I hate that kind of coaching so much.
Because I feel like, especially with coaching, it is important to give, like, I want them to come away not only knowing what
I think is the best way for them to improve, but also why, right? What is my reasoning behind the advice I give? I think that's really important.
I agree. And that video had like 3 million views. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, thank you so much." Maybe it works. Maybe I'm sleeping on his exact grip method.
Oh yeah, I think the like fundamental like desk height stuff with like don't have your chair so low that your arm is like hanging below the table, don't have your elbow so high that you're like bending it outwards. I think that is pretty objective.
Right.
But there's definitely a range of like what 20 centimeters maybe that is doable, and you know, ideal. What's my desk is like slightly above belly button level, but you know, different people, different heights. That will vary. I can't just say have your desk slightly above your belly button because that would be the YouTube short approach.
Yeah. I think
And I'll be wrong.
most people can evaluate if an element of their posture is affecting some part of their aim.
I agree. I think it's the easiest like aim diagnosis.
Yeah.
It's what I got figured out first before like aim training. I had figured out the you know, armrest method. Oh, my desk is like 3 inches below my belly button. So is your setup wrong or is my setup wrong according to the YouTube short logic?
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm gonna play the video.
Yeah.
which, when done in excess, can absolutely contribute to a lack of smoothness and lead to massive disconnects.
Fun fact about that last clip, I was playing with Leica.
Who?
Do you know Leica?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I do.
we played a
I
couple
do know him.
games.
Between motions. So, why don't we just not tense our hands when aiming? I think that comes down to the reason people start in the first place. It creates this feeling of control. When aiming at smaller targets or in high stress situations, it's natural to apply more pressure, and from there, it's an easy habit to get into. That feeling of control is fake, though. Increasing tension in those situations makes it harder to make any movement, intentional or unintentional. So while you might become a bit more stable, it will make adjusting to movements next to impossible. Between the mechanical issues it causes and the risk to your hand's health it presents, excessive fingertip tension is absolutely a habit you should try to break.
Oh, this was another like headache with creating this video. I could not define wrist fingertip arm tension until I had defined wrist fingertip arm aim. So I had to kind of present this false image of like tension discussions as being only grip tension, and it made writing this bit especially really hard. And I think it's kind of weak because of that. I think
Interesting.
it kind of drags because of all the clarification. I don't know. Quake duels. I was actually thinking of getting into it. There was a LAN recently in Australia and I watched, and it looked really fun. So
I feel like withholding some of the information made for an interesting reveal, though.
it did, but it made for a fucking nightmare. This was the hardest video I've ever had to write. This took like so long and so many shuffles, and I had a full script about like 2 months before the video came out, and then I just redid a lot of it. Spend a lot of my time explaining fundamentals like this behind the scenes. Okay, I'm gonna lie to you. It's like in fucking in science in school where they're like, yeah, there's 3 what's it called? There's 3 like
States of
types
matter?
states of matter. There's actually 4. No, we lied. There's like 20. Fuck you. You're not learning about any of them. Yeah, it's kind of like that, but it's like I can't tell you this yet. We need the setup. There is more than 4 actually.
I like this. The last diabolical rogue player begging us to make an essay to revive that game. No. Too Good killed it. If he removes Tiny, I'll consider it. First thing they add to the game and it's awful.
I haven't, T-John. I've gotten used to it. Zemi was at that line, actually. Next podcast, we are recording it tomorrow. And I think I'm editing the audio for this one, and I might outsource the editing video to JD. We'll see how.
Oh, you want to do it?
I don't know. I'll consider it.
Interesting.
Would you be interested in testing tension on different tubes at different times with electrodes? I would be, but I have no idea how to do that.
You are a little crazy, though. I can confirm.
Oh.
That's what they said.
Telling you you're Einstein condensators. Okay, but they're cool though. Ground. I asked JD what are the 3 states of matter. Her response: ground.
What?
Hey, Nightmare.
I know, man. We haven't gotten Optimus Mouse yet.
Nah, it hasn't arrived. Alright, I'm gonna keep playing.
So it's clear where tension got its reputation from. People were applying too much when holding the mouse, stopped and noticed that their smoothness improved, then
This is also
concluded
what
that
happens, yeah.
all tension was bad. But
No, actually, that
what
one's
if I
like
told
50.
you that grip tension wasn't the only type of it, and that correctly utilizing the other types is the actual way to not only get better at reducing grip tension, but also for getting smoother aim? But to achieve this, we need to understand how tension affects different parts of our aim, both positive and negative, and figure out how we can avoid those problems that are so commonly associated with it. Let's go back to the clip from the
That's
start
a
of the
pinky
video
line,
again.
actually.
That
one?
sudden burst of speed is
Problems that are
achieved
so
usually
commonly
associated with it.
You read that.
Let's go back to the clip from the start of the video again. That sudden burst of speed is achieved using tension, but instead of being located in the mouse grip, this tension is in the muscles of my wrist and arm. I have to place some stress in those muscles to get to that fast flicking speed. But then, how do I stop that movement? My approach at the time was to apply even more tension at the end of the flick. I like to think of tension as a scale from 1 to 10. The start of a movement like
Oh,
this
bar
might be a
was
5.
fun.
It's a
This
good
was not like as hard as it looks to make. It was very time consuming, but not that hard. But I think it added a lot to the video, and how smooth it looks. I don't know. I really like it.
I agree. I think it was a really important addition.
How are you able to fix the problem to try to power sock method? I haven't actually. What I did is run some weird regedit script I found online and fixed it.
Do not do this, guys.
I had nothing to lose. I'm like, fuck it. I'm not working on anything. If it breaks, I will reinstall Windows. It worked, yeah. The part where the bar helped me while signing up my Passy GM. Congrats and thank you. If you're desperate, I have right. Like it's just like fuck it. I'm so sick of this. If it doesn't work, I'm reinstalling. Yes. What did it contain? I don't know. I didn't look.
I said don't do it, don't do it. But I guess it worked. Every internet safety rule just instantly broken.
Yeah.
It was fucked up though, because like that issue she was having was kind of common on Reddit, but everybody had a different solution.
It was fucking crazy. Like the amount of people saying like, "Oh, check your graphics card cables," or like, "It's a power supply issue. It's a cooling issue." Like, no. I've checked. I've made sure it's none of those. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, restore point would have been smart.
Probably.
I guess you probably would have just wanted to reinstall anyway.
Yeah. Especially because it's on like XOS, it really doesn't take that long to install.
That's true. That's true.
Do you actually feel the tension in different muscle groups, or is it just an intention you set for yourself? I do. Wrist is tough. I know with wrist, it's mainly like, okay, my correction is too harsh. I was holding onto too much tension. With like arm and upper shoulder, Which, by the way, I am so sad I did not get to distinguish between arm and shoulder in this video. They do the same thing, but they have different tension budgets, and I feel like that's important. With those two, I definitely feel it. So... I miss Vanguard. Honestly, I just miss 10v10 and like 20v20. That was so fun.
I think fingers are also pretty easy to tell.
Yeah, I agree. They do the same thing, like they both do similar movements and they work together for both. So like a really wide angle flick, you're covering like half your mouse pad. It's going to be like part elbow, part shoulder for the vertical, and then a little bit of wrist. No, I think I use much less shoulder than most people too, Anima. I think you're gonna have to hover to get like proper shoulder activation.
Ince's Twitter activity is quite funny now.
Yeah.
He's branded himself as like a shoulder aimer.
Shoulder aimer.
Shoulder maxing. Makes sense for his style though.
True. Did you have to learn that awareness? For sure. At first I had no clue what tension was conceptually. I had to really like think about it and figure out like, okay, what does this do? Because yeah, when I started, the common advice was like, don't tense.
Mm-hmm.
Hold
your
mouse
mouse like an egg. Yep. That's funny.
Then the N might be an 8. And this looks like it works. My crosshair does stop, but look at what happens after.
This was
I
perfect.
can't make
That was
believe I
really
landed
good.
right on the
adjustment
guy's
that I
head
need
after the
to
180.
reach the target. This is because we only have a limited amount of tension to go around. You can test this for yourself. Tense your arm as much as you possibly can to the point of it almost vibrating for 5 to 10 seconds.
This is Pingu, by the
and
way,
then
not me.
try to
Oh,
make very
yeah.
small movements with your arm straight away. It takes a while
I'm
for
also in
it
the
to
thumbnail.
recover from
True.
that exertion. The first movements will be shaky and jagged and only start to smooth out over time.
I think this is the biggest miss in the video. Not content-wise, I think it's fine. I think I didn't quite get what I wanted for the segment. I wanted it to be, in editing, a really heavy switch up. Like, okay, we've got the solution. Tension at the end, let's go. And then, no, actually, because we only have a limited amount. But I didn't really get that across in the voiceover. I think I needed to be more emotive, more sad. And I think, yeah, that was a bit of a miss. And I wasn't bothered to re-record because I needed to, you know, get it out. I don't know if that really mattered though. I think the music carried a lot about like, you know, conveying that emotion. I think there should have been a more explicit note in the video, like verbally, and there should have been like even like a line saying like, unfortunately, you know, this doesn't work. I don't know.
This is called Lockout and is what happens when you try to use more tension than you have
That was such a
available.
good find too.
In the case of the clip from earlier, I add extra tension to stop, but have to wait to release that tension before I can micro-adjust smoothly. I know we're talking fractions of a second here, but in a gunfight, this difference is significant. Tensed, not tensed. Tensed, not tensed. This is just in the short term though, a tiny delay after an extreme burst of tension. But that isn't the only time this can happen. Both high amounts of tension very quickly and moderate amounts of tension over a long period of time can cause the exact same effect. An example of this might be a team fight in Apex. If your tension starts high and stays high, eventually you'll experience that same
the
feeling.
frames.
Your
Oh my
muscles
God.
will lock up and they just
Oh
won't
my.
move right. So again, it seems like tension is a bad thing here. It's causing either a delay after any flick shot or shaky adjustments. But that's only if you don't know how to control it.
That clip is so good.
It's really good.
Okay. Off topic, did your mouse grip change when you started using one fingertip? A little, yeah. I made sure that like not all of my palm is touching at the moment. It's like mainly under like the base of my thumb and like underneath my pinky, but I have to be able to like detach both whenever I really need to. So
You should talk about your weird way of pressing the mouse buttons.
oh yeah, it might be like
Hidden
crazy
tech.
tech. So most people press the mouse like, wait, fuck, I can't see, like this, right? I do it like this. This is not like this, right? It's just bending my knuckle instead. And it actually uses less tension. And I didn't know that I did this for any like practical reason. But I think that might be it, because it developed from playing like air scenarios where you really have to like min-max tension management. But it works. I do use the new OP one. It's like the same pretty much. It's better. It is better, but not that substantial. And I use the Cicada Wings grip tape. That feels so weird. It might take some adjusting, and I don't know if I recommend it, but for me personally, lower tension overall when holding mouse on. I do that when I haven't cut my nails. Well, you'll never guess what mine look like. People comment about them in my videos.
It's
like,
insane
"Trim
you
your
can do that.
nails."
I'm actually crippled with my like claw plus fingertip mobility. I can't have nails that grow out for more than like a week. It's just over. Somebody asked about Baronox sim style, like
I
why that doesn't
saw.
cause tension lockout. It's got to be because of the lifting, right?
The core of it is that he doesn't really do any movements that would show the lockout, you know?
That's true too, but I mean he uses 7 cm or something ridiculous,
Yeah.
and never uses tension to stop because
Yeah,
he's always
lifting
lifting
the mouse at the end of his flicks, and because of that lift, you don't need any tension at the end. You don't really need to dynamically control it. It's like you're tensing to move the mouse. You stop tensing when it's in the air.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of how it works. Chivilius, thank you for the tier 1. Good night, JD. Thanks for watching.
Bye bye.
Keen to record the podcast tomorrow.
Why did she call me Pinguefy?
For Patreon VOD review, how long should the VOD be? I don't have a set limit, but don't send me something that's an hour long. I won't watch it all. Generally, people just send in like Kovacs VODs, but it's meant to be only one, but I don't mind if they send a follow-up. And it, like, I don't know if DM VODs are allowed, quote unquote, but if you send me a 10-minute DM VOD, I won't be pissed at you or anything.
Okay, so I need to answer this question. Somebody's like hit the nail on the head for my recent like obsession. Ava Cameron says, Pingu, thoughts on wired for a very light mouse like the Gill Mouse mod kit? So I went on this like 3D printed journey because I had the realization that you can buy the STL files from these mouse modders, right? Then go to a printing service, give them the STL files, and they'll print it for you, finish it, send it out to you. And the prints are really good quality, actually. And I thought, well, if one of these shapes is good enough to where it could be like a safe recommendation for Fingertip, I could just say like, okay, if you've got an OP1, just try printing one of these out and see how it goes. I think all of them are kind of a miss. Either didn't think about the shape enough, or build quality is not quite there, not enough structural support. But and sensor position, that's another thing with the big PCBs. I think only one modder thought about it at all. And because of that, I was like, okay, there's like this tiny PCB I remember seeing that you could control the sensor position very accurately because it's not tied to the mouse buttons. And I found somebody who's making a 9-gram fingertip mod with the Gill Mouse PCB. And I was like, holy fuck, that's so cool.
9 grams is fucking
9 grams
crazy.
is crazy. It doesn't make any sense. People are clickbaiting like 19 world's lightest, and this is 9. I
thought that's like the Ponage Trinity's battery is what, 4.5 grams? That's like 2 batteries, and that's the mouse. It's fucking crazy.
But she also designed it kind of similarly to the HSK Pro, which is like, this could be crazy. This could be so good. And the other one that's exciting, sorry,
Keep going.
is that one of the mods that I tried is called the Clone, Klone, by Gabe's Mouse Mods. And that was probably the best of the ones that I tried. And it's a KPU-inspired fingertip mod. Pretty good. A bit wide and it needed some changes. But he's also making a Gill Mouse PCB version of that mod.
Ooh.
Smaller, thinner, lower buttons. Like, it could be crazy. And it's also going to be stupid light because of that PCB.
It's very cool.
Only issue is that I think it uses a 3360. So, a little bit dated now. Hopefully, it's okay. Anyway, sorry.
JD, Miss Colors has sent us a photo of this stream playing on her telly.
She put the soy jack image on it.
Alright. In your opinion, what are the fastest skates for cloth? Artisan dots
Yeah.
have got to be up there.
It's gotta be.
Hey, no. Ask her about house. Oh my god. What was the fucking question? Like, no, I don't know enough about the show. It's a no.
It was like, what food is Chase allergic to? Which is mentioned, I think, one time across the entire series.
How hard is mouse lifting to learn? I don't think it's that hard. I put a bit of time into it and got pretty good, but it's not that useful. I don't know. You try Zero Mouse. I will. Optimum has actually sent one, so
It's a good answer. Roller stroller. Okay, you want to continue?
I found it helpful to think of high tension like sprinting. It does offer a very powerful burst of speed, but comes at the cost of a lot of energy. We have to rest and recover after doing it. You'll tire yourself out
Footage
too
from
fast
Olympics.
otherwise.
I forgot I did that because I need footage credits. I gotta have them. I can't just credit everyone but the Olympics.
Because the damn rings are in the corner.
Okay, but what if someone doesn't know?
Okay.
To rest and recover
Footage from
after
Olympics.
doing it. You'll tire yourself out too fast otherwise. But if you were to
Nice
jog
upscale music,
instead
thank you.
or sprint for
Noah.
a little before going to a jog to let yourself recover, you'll be able to sustain a higher average speed for longer. This is the core idea behind.
I think that was the most important part of the video, to be honest. I feel like
Mhm.
there are probably some people who like zoned out during that and got kind of lost after, because that is the concept, right? That's the
Right,
whole
yeah.
thing. Thank you, Granger. Thank you.
managing tension over any period of time, controlling when you utilize it and when you relax to get the most out of the tension you do have, your tension budget. The second method of stopping the momentum of a flick is that idea compressed into the space of a single mouse movement. You release the tension from the start of the flick before you reach the target. Let the momentum generated carry you the rest of the way. This is tension budgeting in the short term, going from a sprint to a jog.
I'm happy.
After implementing this technique, I was able to make those snappy movements while still being able to adjust fluidly afterwards. I wasn't stuck in that recovery period. This is exactly how good tension management leads to good smoothness. Having smooth aim isn't just about moving at one speed consistently. It's about being able to dynamically go between different speeds as required, smoothly blending fast flick shots into controlled micro adjustments with no delay or shakiness in between, which is impossible without using tension. Through controlling that tension, we can combine the benefits of a smooth style, the seamless movements and lack of shakiness, with the speed of a snappier style.
I think that was the best part of the video.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like super condensed, good
Yeah,
explanation, and I do a good job of recovering from my intro setup of like What about smoothness? Well, now I want to talk about flicks. How do I link them? And I think I did a good job of that there. That is the part of the video I think people should rewatch if they don't get it. Because that's the whole concept.
Yeah.
When looking at it conceptually, that is it. What about smaller movements of power, for example, when holding angles at long distance? There you want to place some tension in your fingertips, and I don't think you need to worry too much about releasing it mid-flick if it's like a tiny movement, but you do still want some movement, some tension for those movements, in my opinion. Val clip dump. I have like Valorant DM clips, but I would get torn to shreds if I put those on Twitter. People flame people for posting Swift play. DM is worse. So, you know.
I got a comment on my third YouTube channel where I uploaded one frag video from a TF2 player who I think is banned. But they wrote like MGE and DM clip skull emoji on this like 100 view video.
It's crazy.
People, I don't know, they just have an ego about everything.
Yeah. Someone's better than me? What can I discredit them for? Oh, it's DM. Your aim shit. Do you think fingertip grip is superior for aiming in general? No.
No. A fingertip grip right here? No.
It's all trade-offs, and
Yeah.
it always will be. For me, I still use claw. I've just made sure to have some, fingertip mobility. Whenever you're making these videos, do you have the voiceovers first, or you're doing what's clips? I sometimes have like a rough idea, and like I'll show you actually. For the video I'm working on right now, I have gotten footage notes for the whole thing. So because I have to get like real life recording footage for this. I have notes for the entire video about like this is the shot that I want to get the footage, and that can happen even before recording the voiceover. But generally I will just put in the voiceover and go through kind of like line by line and find something that matches. I saw someone ask about fingertip horizontal movements. You might be a better person for this because you're really fucking good at it.
Thank you.
But for me, it is like kind of tilting the mouse. Does that make sense? Like I'm
Within
applying
your
pressure
hand?
with my thumb. I'm applying pressure with my pinky. And those offer a kind of weird way to aim, but it gives you really good fine control if you can adjust to it. So yeah, pinky, thumb, pinky, thumb.
So it's more of a rotation for you than like
Yeah, like you, like I can't do that.
what do you mean you can't do that? Well, I guess because of your grip, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, that's how it works in full fingertip. This is how it works for me. So not quite as substantial, but enough to get, fine corrections.
Yeah. And that's all you need, really.
Do you still have your palm on the mouse when you use your fingertips? Sometimes. Generally here, yes. Here, occasionally, no. But in like normal grip, here and here is touching with like a big gap here. Why is her VS code words? I like that. What's your guys' recommended mouse grip for people with big hands on the bigger side? It all depends on your mouse, of course. I think claws a pretty safe place to start. If you're palming right now, try just curling your fingers a little. That's how it started for me. If you're fingertip gripping, no need to change, I don't think. Unless you have like a specific reason.
So where did you put the cursor? Because I remember I sent it to you. Is it in your Discord?
I put it on Imgur for some person, but I don't know where.
Okay. You can send me a DM if you want. I'll give it to you after. Does JD have a pour-on base is a funny question.
She's just got like, I don't know, human base? nice.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I can't say I've checked though. You're the leader of the Fingertip Mafia.
Let's go. I'm making a 50-minute video about Fingertip mice, and also a 20-minute video about Fingertip mice coming out soon. It's difficult because I have a quibble with the Dharma Shark M5, but otherwise that would probably be the recommendation. But I don't know if other people share that. I guess one thing that's universal is that the buttons have a lot of play, and the only thing that I can think of, only mouse that has like no huge glaring issues to me, and is relatively safe, would be the HSK Plus Lite. It's like $50. I think a decent way to try it if you're not really certain if you like it or not.
Thank you for the tier 1 yards.
I can't believe Nightmare just typed that.
Sergeant Penguin.
No.
Called out. Dotskate's better than Jade's. Ultra Glide Silence. I like the Ultra Glide Speeds more as well. TPTL controls. Artisan Dot.
Yeah.
Raven, thank you for the tier 1. Reporting for TT. There you go.
I hate that.
It might be a controversial topic, especially in the context of Call of Duty, but some people suggest implementing aim assist for casual first-time players using a mouse. Question is, does it actually work? Do you think it would negatively impact presidential aim? Yes, I 100% agree that it would, and I think it is a terrible idea.
Mm-hmm.
I think people who are like, aim assist on mouse is the solution, are making it a bit too obvious why it's so strong on consoles in the first place, you know? It should not be as strong as it is. It, like, eats your micros and eats their micro movements, so you don't even have to track them.
Mm-hmm.
It's very overtuned. I think controller players definitely need aim assist. You know, there is a definite disparity between the two inputs.
Unless the gyro revolution.
True. I actually think gyro with flick stick is better than M&K, but that's my hot take.
Even without friction? I guess you could generate it with your hand. There was a mouse that a company reached out to me to try called the SwiftPoint Z2. It's kind of like a G502 with about 16 buttons in different locations, and also analog buttons. It has like Hall effect switches. I don't know if it actually is Hall effect, but it's like pressure sensitive. And one feature it has is that you can disable the sensor and turn it into like a gyro device, which I thought was actually really cool, but I think they only intend to use it for leaning, so you can't actually use it to aim.
Yeah, it was such like a
disappointed by.
narrow, I don't know, segment.
Honestly, like, it does seem really awkward to have to lean with Q&E, but I'm sure you get used to it.
Someone asked about gaming stream. Probably next stream. I want to play more Doom. I want to play the finals. I have one more PC thing I need to fix, and then I'll be good to go finally. So, yeah.
The SwiftPoint Z2. Seems like a cool productivity mouse, but I can't recommend it for anything else really.
Overwatch stream. So, I've streamed Overwatch before and got flamed by chat, and I have not streamed it since. I would like to though, and I think I'm pretty consistent now. I'm definitely better than I was. So, yeah. Any tips on motivation for aim training? I am very goal focused, so I want right now 11.5k control sphere. So every day I'm playing a little bit of control sphere to, you know, keep progressing towards that goal. And if I don't get anywhere, it's like, okay, whatever. That's what works for me. If you're the kind of person where having a super strict daily routine, extra control sphere. A super strict routine, maybe you can make like an extra control sphere routine instead of just playing like random control sphere scenarios, which is what I do. Or, you know, VDM works for a lot of people. Consistency. It has never worked for me. And I think the biggest thing people do in aim training that I don't think they should is kind of force themselves to that, like, to that structure and to that really set in stone, like, okay, I'm going to get up, I'm going to play my medium, never worked for me. And I think it can kind of encourage like autopiloting in your practice, and I don't think it's great for a lot of people. If it works for you, it works for you, but it didn't work for me at all. So I use the artisan dot skates. I think they're called the Fute P8s, F8s, I'm not sure. Cherry Blossom Isle, thank you for the prime sub. Oh, don't worry, Sleepy Astrid. I still get lockout sometimes in my runs. It's really tough. It's really tough, especially in extra control sphere, which is why I'm playing it so much. Razer Viper. I haven't used either mouse, to be honest with you. I saw someone else ask about the Viper V3 Pro as well. I probably won't buy it. It's too big for me. I know that before trying it. I know I won't like it. It looks really good, but not for me. Mine is 103 Overwatch is standard for aim training FOV. So at first, it's cool, I've been around long enough to know this. At first, people would use the Overwatch send slider because there was no like horizontal or vertical slider, and it would cap out at 103 because that was what Overwatch used, and it's also the same FOV Valorant used. And I think because of that, people just like, they wanted a minimum, and it's like, okay, we'll just choose 103 because it's like the minimum in a lot of games. I don't think there's any like super in-depth like this is the optimal FOV for aim training. It's just like what was used. Ripple control and motion sync. I don't think I have either of those on.
What is ripple control?
I don't know.
That's one of the few options I just have no idea what it does.
Predates Valorant significantly. Well, yeah, it's been being used since like what, 2020?
103?
That's when it was set in place. Yeah.
Is that? It's like typical Overwatch, right?
It is. It's normal Overwatch, and it's Valorant.
What's 90?
CS is 106.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was enforced back in 2020. Do you try to focus on one scenario, then grouping it into reaching PB? Generally, I do categories. Right now, I'm doing extra control sphere because, like, both Matty and Clover have told me, like, this is the scenario. I got, like, 11.5, I got 12k on this, and then I went, like, fucking crazy. And I'm like, okay, deal. I'll put in the fucking 100 hours extra control sphere torture chamber.
Every day I wake up, she's on extra control sphere.
It's so painful. I fucking hate it. I was averaging 10.5k today, and I couldn't fucking get 11k once. It's so bad. It's so bad. How many dots? I got 5. At what point do you jump up a level? I try to get complete before moving on, but I know a lot of people don't bother. I think both are valid. Then what about for even faster movements? Large angle flick shots like these, does the same idea of releasing tension mid-flick still apply there? Yeah, and if anything, it gets more important the larger the flick is. The more you have to move your mouse, and the faster you move your mouse, the more tension you use and inertia you create, which all still has to be counteracted to stop that movement. So stopping the mouse using tension requires more of it. The downsides get worse. But stopping by releasing tension gets easier. Since the window you have to release it in, it gets larger. Look at that. On top of that though, there is another... I also want to point out, you're going to talk about the glitch. Stopping by releasing tension
I was going to
gets
talk about
easier.
Dexerto.
Since the... Oh, that was so fucking funny. I didn't know they posted it for like a month. And
JD
then-
got posted too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And she didn't know either.
That was her Marvel Rivals post, and I got like a fuck ton of likes. And this got so many comments accusing me of cheating.
window you have to release it in, it gets larger. On top of that though,
I also want to say control sphere far larger, try my wagon. Did you see what I did for the beginner benches? I made control sphere far larger. I watched one of these videos many times which I thought it was a scene transition. Also finals thoughts. Like in the game, the finals, then
I think
it's
oh.
40 hertz OLED for sure.
I think they just mean final thoughts on.
Oh, final thoughts? OLED for me. The Zowie gives me fucking crazy motion sickness eye strain. I don't know what it is. There was one time I played it for about maybe 4 hours of Overwatch, which is a long play session for me. I don't usually play that long. And I had to lie down because my head was just spinning so bad. And I don't think this is common. You can use it just fine. But I can't use it.
It's 100% hit rate too. Every time you use it.
Every time I use it, I'm knocked out. It's really bad. And like I've had people tell me like, yeah, it's normal. It goes away. It hasn't gone away.
Even when you stopped using Diac that one time.
It was still there. I still had this like really bad headache like right here above my eyes. And I swapped back to OLED. Immediately I felt fine again. So I cannot use that monitor, and getting footage for this video has been like physically painful. Blood, sweat and tears put into this project.
That's funny.
So yeah, I probably won't be maining it, but the video should be done within 2 weeks. I've recorded the audio, I gotta record the footage. Editing will be super easy because I just like record the footage, drag it in. Got extra control sphere 4.9. Honestly, my first run was worse. It was like 3,000 or something. Same even for lower hertz DAC monitors. I don't know, but I don't. No, I've used it in the finals and I still got weird. I don't know. I have no idea why, and like this is the worst Diac motion sickness I have encountered. I looked because I wanted to determine if this is something I should mention in like my post-amble in the video or in the video itself. And I went with post-amble because I could not find anyone else who had this issue this badly.
My review is that I want to buy an OLED monitor. I've been using it for like 2 months now.
The Zowie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. If I played games that ran that well, I'd probably appreciate it more as well. But OLED is just way more well-rounded for like 90% of the benefits, I feel.
I agree. The Zowie does have better motion clarity in like Valorant, Counter-Strike, Overwatch. Anything else, I'd choose the OLED. Too many sacrifices.
I kind of miss 27-inch too, which I never thought I would say.
It's crazy. I've used backlight strobing before though, and it's alright. So I don't know what's going on here. Eyes checked. I know they're a little fucked, but I didn't think, I don't know.
Whose eyesight is worse? Oh no, it's yours, right?
Mine's worse, yeah.
Yeah.
We're not that dissimilar though. I think my astigmatism is worse.
You think so?
But our vision is similar.
I think my vision is, or your vision is worse. Like the text that we can read, the distance that you can't read it is
Okay,
much...
fair point.
Can you read the keys on the keyboard from here?
No.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Maybe you've got the worst astigmatism. I don't know. Will we get a raw input with Riley? That could be fun.
I would like to. I think she'd fit in well.
Favorite anime? I have seen Cowboy Bebop and that's it. So that's my favorite.
No. You've seen a little Food Wars.
I have seen a little Food
A little bit of
Wars.
Yamada's first time.
I have been forced into watching anime against my will. Okay. I know there is a 3 in my prescription, Granger. I don't know where it is. Hey, anime is good. I like Cowboy Bebop. I didn't enjoy Food Wars that much. Oh, this is a fucking crazy story. So when I was in high school, probably year 9, there was a group of maybe 12 of us that were really close, good friends, and one of the blokes was really, really keen on Food Wars. And he's like, this is the best anime I've ever watched. It's like top 1 favorite anime. He's hyping it up. And really good friend of mine, her name's Amelia, said like, okay, let's all watch it together. You know, let's come over to my place. We'll all watch it. She really liked anime. And so that was organized. We went to there. It was a nice time. Amelia had throwing knives, so I got to try throwing knives. Anyway, we're all sitting in the living room watching Food Wars. Have any of you seen Food Wars? Just out of interest. I think it was, who was there? Tom, Samuel, Gabe. So 3 blokes, the rest of us were girls. Oh. So as it starts, we're realizing like, what the fuck is this? Okay, I don't remember that. That's not as good as I thought. Oh, maybe
God.
it's top 3. Maybe it's top 5.
I think when you've watched that much anime, it just you completely get desensitized to it. And then once other people are seeing it who aren't desensitized to
Right.
the tropes, it's like, oh fuck.
I know Amelia had seen anime, and a couple of the other girls had. I hadn't, and most of them hadn't. So we were like, what the fuck is this?
Oh no.
Anyway, the plot twist is that Amelia told me a couple of years ago, we were chatting about it. She's like, oh yeah, I know what Food Wars was. I just wanted him to know how weird it was.
What?
So it was all set up.
So how did he feel?
It was a setup. He actually did like reevaluate, like, this actually is pretty weird, hey? And
That's fucked up. That guy is gonna carry that trauma with him for life. I would wake up in a cold sweat thinking about that day. Jesus.
oh my god. Consequences.
I don't think it's like bad either. It's just like not something you show to a group of non-anime watchers.
I mean, I don't know. I have no moral judgment against Amelia for it.
Okay,
I think
okay.
it's quite funny.
I thought you were gonna say against the friend who watches Food Wars.
Well, obviously. I do not think his like soul is contaminated because he watched Food Wars. Gotta learn somehow. It was kind of like.
Did he
Like-
have to though? Like,
I mean, he was going on about it a lot. I remember that's why the name Food Wars is like burned into my fucking
oh my
brain.
god.
And he was
He was like 16,
no,
right?
he was there when people were telling me to watch Yamada's first time. He didn't say anything. They were like, yeah, it's really sweet and really romantic. And then the girl's like, I want to fuck 100 dudes. And it's like,
Oh
okay,
my
I'm not
God.
watching this anymore.
Did you
So-
get like punked? I don't understand.
I don't know. I've had bad experiences with anime. I'm traumatized.
Bebop has been a good return to form though, right?
It was
anime
good.
takes
It was
itself
really
seriously.
good.
Good.
Is aim training planet a thing? I'm feeling quite stuck. Absolutely. I've been doing it for 5 years, and over that 5 years, I've probably said I'm quitting about 12 times, maybe more. Yamada's first time. You know what it is? Oh
I
my
know
god. I didn't finish it, obviously, but not gonna introduce Food Wars to normies. Yeah, I was the normie.
I think JD wants us to watch Attack on Titan as well.
Oh, true. We still gotta get through all of the series Bebop,
Bebop?
though.
Yeah. We're like halfway done.
I see you're on Zero instead of a Raiden. You're using artisan dots for it. I am. What happens in Food Wars? Not for stream.
It's just very suggestive. Even though it's like not actually anything happening, they're just eating the food.
It was the fucking moaning though. It was so uncomfortable. It was so uncomfortable. Anyway,
Anyway.
the video.
Is
Tension,
another
right.
technique we can implement here to make our movements flow together even better. But to explain that, I first need to talk about muscle groups. There are two muscle groups that most people use to move the mouse, the wrist and the arm.
This one actually looks pretty good.
Because of its smaller range of motion, the wrist is more suited to smaller movements like the one showed earlier. The arm, on the other hand, has a higher maximum speed and a wider range of motion, so we want to primarily use it for larger movements. Since tension...
We always and all of us make noises while we eat delicious food, but it's usually like, wow, this food's really good. Not like- Hi, Viscose. This is the Infinity Mouse Cat Vomit edition. Yeah, it is, unfortunately. Pre-cat vomit, though. I don't know if that makes it better or like if the cat vomit is like a blessing.
That's such a good first time chat. That's legendary. Knows about the lore behind a mouse pad that shows up for
crazy.
2 seconds.
What do you think of low button height? I think I prefer it. I think,
I'm curious if there's a limit.
me too, because it makes me feel more precise with like fingertip adjustments, especially having them lower down. How much intention was behind arranging events that I did? I like them more. I like tracking more. I did those first, so they're up the top.
That's funny.
Have either of you tried Rust? I have a little. Mostly with friends though. I was never really like,
You have a couple 100 hours, don't you?
I do. But it was like, I don't know, playing empty servers with my friends. I was never like a big PvPer.
Riley has a friend who just like grinded the recoil in that game. Like 4,000 hours of just Rust, and now he's insane at every game. Maybe that's your secret. The PUBG training.
True. I either listen to music or put on like a YouTube video when I'm playing. Russ makes great content. Oh, there was one. Who was it? Was it H-Tune? Was that the guy's name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. I really liked some of his Rust videos, like way back, 2020, 2021. Yeah, it's control sphere far, comma larger. What's
That's
on your
funny.
playlist? Like Spotify? A lot of metal. Not much else right now. What time is it for you right now? 1 in the morning. We got half the video to go.
Then is
We're doing
just
terrible.
us activating
Yeah, we're doing hard.
muscles. That means that we can tense each muscle group individually.
I like
So
these
for flicks,
visualizations.
Yeah,
we
this
can
is
tense our arm without tensing our wrist. What this means is that even if we can't release all of that tension we needed to start the flick in our arm in time, we can still make follow-up movements with our wrist since it already had very low tension. Each muscle group has independent tension budgets, so we can dynamically change how much tension we're applying to each one to let the other recover. This applies across every type of aiming as well. For example, start a track by adjusting with your wrist and slowly transition into following through with your arm. The arm and wrist aren't the only two muscle groups we can use though. Remember grip tension, the thing that was never good and was the cause of unsmooth aim? Coming back to it, after learning all of this about dynamic tension management, gave me an idea. What if fingertip tension is similar, useful when controlled properly?
Why are you
And
blue?
it is.
I don't know.
Utilizing my
there
fingertips
you
when
go.
aiming was
Cringe.
honestly a pretty massive breakthrough for me, even though at the time I didn't move the mouse with my fingertips at all. The first benefit this has is stability. Since placing more tension in your fingertips will make movements more rigid and snappy, even if those movements are made with a different muscle group, varying the amount of fingertip tension you have opens up a way to get similar benefits to what wrist tension offers without actually tensing your wrist.
Good night, Raven.
Good night.
Thanks for stopping by. I'm curious if this makes sense to people, that increasing fingertip tension will make movements more rigid. I'm curious if this is like an intuitive concept or...
I would think so, because like this is the tension that most people think about when they hear the word
Yeah, I
tension.
agree. It's also what I crutch on super heavy in this
Fits
scenario. This
to
is like
what wrist
all
tension
fingertip
offers
tension.
without actually tensing your wrist.
Just saying. Remember raw input episode 2? You posited never fingertip tension.
I actually don't remember. It's been too long. I think never like extreme tension. Never sustained fingertip tension.
That's fair.
Mouse skates for tack FPS. I just use artisan dots, honestly. That's it for me. Like artisan dot, done.
I'm actually curious how many pro players use aftermarket skates.
Me too. I know Twist had never tried them, Twists. And he's a fucking super nerd. He's tried like fuck ton of mouse pads, fuck tons
That's
of
crazy
mice.
to me.
And yeah, I asked him, like, you ever used aftermarket skates? He was like, no. Never really used grip tape either.
That makes sense with his grip though.
When I tense my fingers, my aim instantly goes to shit. This is something I really got a handle on, like, very recently. And I think if anything was to be cut from the video, it was probably this mention of it. But maybe for flicks, it's okay. Yes, big fencing, generally. Yeah, it's intuitive. It's that snappiness thing. Okay. It's also like the shakiness, you know? It's like the inverse of that. It's like that, but utilized. I think that was probably the strongest segment of the video, actually. I've changed my mind. The song is really good.
Which one is it?
This is the one you chose from the
Vincenzo
obscure, yeah, puzzle game.
That was a Northern Line Let's Play from 2013. Pulled that one out.
Crazy.
So when tracking a target, if you have to correct for a change in direction, you might place some tension in your fingertips to make that correction snappier, which will work even if you don't move the mouse with your fingertips at all. Dynamically controlling the amount of tension I placed in my fingertips, adding or removing it as needed, was what finally got rid of my issues with gripping my mouse too tightly.
That was definitely a glass pad whiff, by the way. Not like gripping my mouse too tightly, but you know. Gotta bend the truth a little.
Control over it fixed that weakness. The second and much more impactful element is actually using them to make movements, even when holding my mouse in a...
I feel like that needed a more distinct like signifier, like... No, actually maybe it was okay. It's probably because we're watching it in snippets. But... I don't know.
Claw grip, they have a surprisingly large range of motion, and since they are the most precise muscle group we have, the accuracy within that range of motion was a lot better than what my wrist could offer. Plus, having a third tension budget to offset tension too helped a lot with my overall tension management over longer periods. Okay, I know this is a lot of information, and it can be pretty hard to grasp what this stuff actually does when looking at it in a purely theoretical context. So how does...
I had that little drawback moment planned for quite a while of like deep look into the theory. Okay, I know this is hard to follow. How do we apply this? And I just hope people can stay like, you know, focused long enough to sit through that, if that makes sense. How old are these Apex clips? Well, this is Hollows. What was my last one? I got some old ones in this video. 2021 maybe?
I feel like most of the ones in BR are probably 2021.
Yeah.
And the DM ones are recent. Bye, Granja.
See you, Granja. So when you say tension to fingers, is that for micro adjustments too? Can be both. They can act as a stabilizer for larger movements. Like, you know, if you're fingertip gripping, for example, you can tense your fingers more to keep the mouse in a more consistent place throughout the movement. Otherwise, it'll kind of bounce a little. And it can be for adjustments themselves, like, you know, increasing the tension, making more rigid, snappy movements, specifically with your fingertips. It's the way Battlefield 5. I gave it a go. I actually got a new graphics card for PC madness. Everything was breaking.
She gets frame rates in that game that I thought were literally impossible within the engine.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I thought it was a hard engine cap of like, okay, the 64 players on Lockout, it cannot run over 200. Getting 300 now, 350 even.
Stupid,
feels really
dumb,
good, so I'm probably going to be playing more.
imbalanced. Poor Mori has got like 70 in his
Oh
5
my
TS
God.
clips.
What GPU does he have?
I don't know, but he did melt his CPU before. So.
Oh
He did turn a CPU into a liquid. My
Thank you,
nightmare.
Nightmare. Thanks for watching. Do you think the majority of improvement came from mindful observation or measured behavior through hours of practice? I have kind of done both a lot. I got pretty good in like 2022. I think I was pretty good. And that was all brute force. That was like, I'm just going to play a lot of aim training, a lot of games, and like how, how much time can I possibly afford to invest? I want to get as good as I can. That's how. And then since then, I had, my final exams, and then these last 2 years have been very focused on like content creation for me. And I haven't really been able to just dump 8 hours a day into video games. So that kind of led me to thinking more about my mechanics and optimizing my practice, and that has helped more.
Mm-hmm.
Both didn't work though, but I definitely am a lot better now, and I think that's because I have a much deeper understanding of mechanics and what to work on and how to isolate weaknesses and improve upon them. So yeah, that's kind of my answer. Brute force can work though. It has for a lot of pros.
Mm-hmm. I think I've gotten so much better in the last 2 years of playing FPSs because that's when I started practicing the skill of self-analysis a lot more. Like, it was always there, but like watching my gameplay back at the end of many games was, I don't know if it was a breakthrough moment, but it was such an important tool for me to like.
Because it's all so clear, right? When you watch your gameplay.
Yeah.
So clear. A big thing for me in Kovacs was being conscious of my mechanics mid-run. So like, if I'm playing it and I'm over-aiming on a specific bot, I will recognize that in the moment and correct for it. You can see it in some of my runs, because I will suddenly go from overcorrection to, okay, stop doing that, and then I stop doing it. It's very impactful. How important is training your eyes? I don't know. I know DDK has been talking to me about this a lot. He got some strobe glasses today, actually.
Really, guys, today?
Yeah.
I'm curious to see the follow-up to that video.
Me too. I have never done it though. I have god-awful eyesight, and my eye training has been play Kovacs. And yeah, I have bad eyes, bad focus, and I'm doing okay. I don't think it's that important, but I might be sleeping on it. I don't know.
It's hard to say because you've done it unintentionally as well.
Like the eye training?
Yeah.
For sure. Like reactive stuff.
Mm-hmm. And like peripheral vision through TS stuff.
When you do vertical fingertip, doesn't the mouse tuck in your hand causing a hover? Only the back of it actually lifts up. The only issue is that sometimes the sensor will stop tracking mid Kovacs run, and I'm like, shit, okay.
That's rough.
But like other than that, not really. It doesn't cause any stability loss. TSing PvE. My PvE games right now are like Doom the Dark Ages, Doom Eternal. We actually played Borderlands 3 today, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, I was actually enjoying the TSing in that game.
Yeah, I had no TS weapons. I got like a SMG with like 50 rounds. I'm like, holy shit. And then it's like 6 bullet burst weapon or something. And it's just okay.
Okay, Ultra Kill is not a TS game though.
There's also RoboQuest.
Yeah.
And
Echo Point Nova.
Echo Point Nova. That's very fun.
Anything else?
What is TSing? Target switching.
You can TS now again.
Okay, sure. Here's a TS actually. So
A big one for me was
Look at
trying
this
to
guy.
flick as
Look at this
quickly
guy.
as
Target
possible,
switch.
but
Holy fuck.
Um,
Does it count as a TS if you have to click?
I do think so. Final question for a while. How do you see the number of enemies outside of your FOV? Sometimes it is pure luck. There are definitely times where it's just like straight up that was completely RNG that he was there. Generally, it's me knowing where a common angle is and like flicking to that angle. Sometimes it's me hearing someone and being able to flick to them based on sound, which I actually practiced really specifically for probably more time than anyone else in the world has.
I was about to say, like, this is a skill that I think you're better than everybody at by like a far.
It was actually really helpful because yeah, like even if I don't land the initial flick, I can get like pretty close pretty consistently, just based off sound. So
Did you ever play shooters with the closed back headphones?
close back.
The one that you bought recently?
No, I didn't.
Okay. That one, I actually felt so lost. like, like I had my headphones on backwards, but I didn't. I just had no soundstage. I forgot what that was like.
I just thought I'd type that because confusing name.
Text. So, how does tension budgeting on a longer time frame apply in games? A big one for me was trying to flick as quickly as possible between angles. My thought process was that
His
it
name
would
is
reduce the
Zugswang.
potential downtime where I could get swung and taken by surprise, and kept me feeling locked in, and those things are true. But I didn't realize how much tension those movements used. Snapping between angles
I think this is
caused
really
both the
important,
delay
actually.
between the flick and any
Yeah,
movements
it is.
after in the short term, and a long term tension budgeting issue.
This was one of the only things I could really pin down when coaching a liege, just like an actual aiming problem, because he's so fucking good. What do you tell a liege? How to
Watching
aim
him play
better?
DM is like a
Oh
movie.
my God,
it's
it's
fucked
crazy.
up.
And this was one of the only things that, like, specifically, yeah, this is actually something that can be improved upon because there's like, nothing else to fucking improve. Anyway,
Tension would gradually increase as I kept flicking between points, and by the time I actually
This
got
is
into
also
a
a very
gunfight,
funny
I had
example. I'm
none
so
left
happy I
to
found this.
utilize.
Yeah, this was so
both because
good.
of the high tension itself and because I was exclusively using my wrist. Now, through both implementing releasing my tension mid-flick and integrating more muscle groups into my aim, I'm never even close to entering lockout when starting gunfights. Any snaps between angles that do happen are led with my arm, leaving my wrist and fingertips free to micro-adjust if I need to. A similar thing can happen in tracking-focused FPS games as well. After a gunfight that requires a lot of tension, it's easy to unintentionally hold onto it,
I think that's a bad
especially when
example,
nerves are factored in,
but I couldn't find anything
which
for that.
can result in the same issue, entering the next gunfight almost at the point of lockout. This is why it's good to get into the habit of relaxing your muscles, releasing that tension, and refilling your tension budget in preparation for your next engagement. This is probably part of why the advice to take deep breaths, relax, and stay calm in games is so effective. It helps encourage good tension management by getting you to relax your muscles. Another thing to be mindful of in games that require tracking is the tension flicks use overall. Even with good tension management, if you are flicking really fast, that recovery period afterwards can cause a disconnect between a flick and a track. Sometimes it can be faster in terms of time to kill to flick a bit slower,
I stole this
especially in
line
games
from
like
a Scrap
Apex or
video.
Overwatch, just to ensure that you have a smooth transition between the two movements.
I think it was a strong segment.
Mhm.
I think looking back on this video, I wish I talked a bit more about how to like train tension management. I think that should have been a longer segment, but this video was so fucking long I couldn't justify adding anything else. But you know, maybe a bit more about how I am trained, but a lot of it is going to be so self-directed that general
Yeah.
advice is really hard to give.
It's also mental too. This is
It
like something you
is, it
keep top of
is.
mind when playing DM or whatever practice method you choose,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much it.
Added here to the stream. I'll see what I end up saying because I've forgotten. I don't know if anyone else here makes videos. Do you remember the video creation process after you're done making them? I have no recollection of making this video at all.
I can.
I remember
pretty,
the writing,
interesting.
nothing else.
I can pretty distinctly remember creating the Kovacs video.
That's cool.
So
Anything
this is
else?
something. I remember doing the dactyl montage and being like, wow, nobody's gonna give a fuck about this. This is so
Really?
stupid. Yeah.
That's like the highlight of the video.
It is for sure.
Adrian, thank you for the Prime sub. Viscose, I decided I'm 28. I decided I'm 20 years. It's too late for me. No.
How do you know? Sorry.
Well, I am not 28. I should preface. I'm 20. But I know a lot of people like Bardos, I think started when he was 29. And he was best static player, Astra overall.
Should know that. That's cool.
Yeah, he's, what? 30 something now? He's still really good. And I know people who are mid-30s who are like Nova tracking. I know DDK is pushing Grandmaster now, which is fucking awesome.
That's good.
And he's what, 33?
Viscose blacked out for a week and there was a tension video. Not quite, but that is how the shimmy video felt. It actually felt like a week of just nothing but creating that video, and it kind of drove me crazy. That's why I've been a bit AFK recently. How consciously do you focus on aiming competitive games? Ernest aim is significantly better when actively thinking about whether this focusing areas. Okay. That's tough. That's tough. Personally, I don't really. I will make a mental note if I fuck something up, but that's about it. Like if I'm tensing too much, I'll be like, don't do that. But it's more of like an error correction than like an active, okay, what should I do to aim at this guy right now?
Right.
Oh no, thank you, Logics, but I promise you I don't need a GoFundMe for a new computer. I have just spent too much fucking money on computer parts.
I'll go reimburse me.
I like that actually.
I think that if you're having that issue where you're aiming a lot better while thinking about it, you probably have to do that enough to the point where you don't have to think about it anymore. Practice with it in mind to the point where it becomes ingrained, and then you won't have to.
And yeah, once the new CPU arrives, I will stream. I want to stream finals for sure. Maybe COD, maybe Overwatch. I think that'd be fun. Yeah, the 15. I can't fucking believe how good it is. Like, I was playing Doom Eternal earlier, and I was getting 600 frames at native 1440p max settings, and 400 with ray tracing on. It's so stupid. It's so fucking stupid.
Is Resi?
Pardon?
Is Resi?
Resi?
Resident Evil?
Oh yeah. 200 FPS, 1440p native, max settings with ray tracing in Resident Evil 4 remake.
It's fucked.
It's ridiculous. It's so overkill.
Battlefield 5 is like 350.
Yeah.
It was like 500 in the training range.
I think it'd be
too.
400 in like a proper game that isn't underground.
Yeah, 350 in underground breakthrough is
Yeah.
fucked up. Most people are getting like 100.
Thank you for the tier 1 Iversrock. I'm still on 145. That's RX 570.
That
Oh my
reminds me
God.
that I asked somebody like, "Oh, do you use DLSS?" And she was like, "No, my car doesn't support that." And she had like a 1060 or something.
Oh no. Intel XeSS is pretty good now. That GPU is my entire new. It's my entire new PC budget too. I don't know what the fuck. It's so much. I paid about 4,000 AU for it, which is actually like a good price. I'm pretty happy I got it at that price because they usually go for about like 5,500. It's kind of stupid. And like it's definitely too much for a graphics card. I'm not gonna deny that, but you know, this is my job. I can make dumb decisions sometimes. Hey Liberty, welcome.
Hi, video.
Bros are rich. Not anymore. I bought a 5090. I'd say it's worth for you. Render times are fucking crazy now. That might justify it alone, honestly. Claimed on tax. True, true. Horizon the 4090. No, it's a great card. Great card. I have a 9950 X30 at the moment, but I'm going to sell it and get a 9800 X30 because it's not fucking working. This has been the headache. It like, oh my god. Do you all want the PC troubleshooting story or do I spare you?
Is 9800 not dual CCD?
9800 is single CCD.
Oh.
Atom Cats. My dad actually got 2 4K monitors, like for work, quote unquote. He's an accountant.
He just has Excel open in
Yeah,
4K.
I think he got his he was at 6900 XT, and I think he got that with as a tax write-off as well.
Fuck yeah.
For accounting. Story? Okay. So when I had the 4080, I did not realize
that I was being CPU bound because this CPU is so good that it was still able to fully drive a 4080 in basically everything I played. And I got the 5090 and I'm like, oh my god, it's running so well in like everything but esports titles. And I, had a look and checked a few things and it was pulling 60 watts. And for anyone who knows the CPU, TDP 170, PPT 240. Highest I had ever seen mine go was 90. So it's being like completely fucking kneecapped and I hadn't even noticed because it was still so good. But anyway, I obviously wanted it to run properly so I can get, good frame rates in like esports games. Your dad is an accountant? Yes, thank God. He said he's going to help me with taxes for this stuff. He is an accountant and a farmer, which is a funny combo. So yeah, CPU is getting completely kneecapped. At this point, I'm convinced it's the CPU because I ended up swapping my cooler, swapping my case, redoing all the fucking airflow in my case. Okay, swap the power supply. All right, didn't do anything. So then I'm like, fuck this. There's no way it works. And chuck it in your computer because you also have an M5 build and it fucking works. What the fuck? And it's pulling 140 watts, which is still kind of low, but I've never seen it pull 140. So what the fuck is going on? At this point, I'm like, all right, whatever. So we swap the motherboards. Takes a day. And you had problems getting it to work. You could get it to fucking Windows after I swapped the motherboard. I was worried I'd like killed your Windows install or
The
something.
solution was so stupid. I'm still
my
pissed.
god, you can go if you want. Go crazy.
I don't really understand it, but like every time I would try to boot into BIOS, it would just be stuck on a black screen forever. And apparently, it's because it was outputting to the deep display port
Yeah.
when there was no display port plugged in and no monitor on the other end.
But this motherboard always pushes that to DisplayPort.
It's so stupid. It was like a phantom DisplayPort signal.
So dumb.
So we had to plug it into DisplayPort, and then it showed up, and then I could install, like a boot menu, and it was okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's back in my PC now, mostly working with your motherboard. It's pulling about 140, which again, still low, PPT of 230, but it's doing okay. And then I try the finals and COD, and they run exactly the same as before. And it's like, well, what the fuck? Why did I bother? And I think it's core allocation. And I've done both before anyone says anything. I've done both the AMD X3D optimization mode, fucking game mode thing, and the process lasso and X3D gaming mode. None of them have worked. So I am selling this thing and I'm getting a 9800 X3D and I'm making 500 AUD back and I am calling it quits. I've had enough with this fucking headache CPU.
We've swapped like almost every component.
God. Genuinely every component.
Because I took your graphics card. We swapped RAM last build.
Yeah.
We swapped motherboards. We swapped CPUs twice.
Oh, it's taken so long. Black Ops 6. But it's happening in the finals too, which I know people say the finals isn't optimized. I've seen people get 400 FPS with my setup in that game. So there is something going wrong. So yeah, I've ordered 98. Gonna put it in when it arrives and yeah. Just gotta see how it goes.
PC troubleshooting fucking sucks.
Oh, I hate it so much. I hate it so much. Because it's so delayed and you never know. Like you spend 2 hours swapping the motherboard. Is it going to work? No fucking clue. Anyway, that's what I've been up to for about a week
kind
now.
of nightmarish.
Most games are working properly now at least. And like, oh my god, the frame rates are so good. I tried TF2, Team Fortress 2. I was getting 1700 and hit the Source Engine soft cap of 1000. So if you go above that in a Source 1 game, you start speed hacking.
Yeah.
And you move too quick.
The physics were all wrong. Specifically, gravity was fucked up. People would just fall really fast.
It's so funny.
Only local servers, of course. Or if you host them, I guess.
Yeah.
Really strange, though. So would that happen in CS as well?
Yeah, CSGO. I don't know about CS2. I have a question. Why do I play online scenarios? You want to hit the challenge mode up the top in the pause menu. If you're in free play, it'll go forever. Okay, there you go. PC troubleshooting. Tangent over.
We're not watching the Jimmy video.
No chance. I'm too tired.
Now, this information is great and all, but keep in mind, when talking about flicking technique, this is how quickly that is all happening.
Just because
It
he was
is
invisible when he
impossible
hit
to be
that.
aware
That's
of this
stupid.
in real time, and I doubt most players who are very good at flicking have even considered it. The value of this knowledge comes from how it informs the habits you strive to develop. Unless you're doing something very wrong, like over-tensing like crazy for every movement or only using your wrist for everything, knowing and understanding this won't change your aim overnight. What it will do is set you up to develop better aiming technique and allow you to work towards a better balance of speed and smoothness. There are two parts to this. The first
Just
is
said it
being
was
aware
fun.
of what different levels of tension feel like. The second is being able to control it on both short and long timescales. I worked on both of these by playing mostly tracking scenarios in aim trainers. Tension plays a similar role there to what it does in flicking. It is a temporary speed booster. When a target changes directions, we want to use some tension in our wrist or fingertips to catch up to it before releasing that tension once we do catch up to let our tension budget refill before the next strike.
I also
Even
think
with
this
that,
is
we
quite
have
good
to use
actionable
tension
advice.
sparingly though. These scenarios often go for a minute or longer, so even if you release that tension after an adjustment, using too much on those adjustments
thinking
will
the same
build up
thing.
over time and can lead to lockout. Scenarios
That actually took so long to keyframe because I went through and manually keyframed it
tension
for each one of
sparingly
those
though.
little.
These scenarios often go for a minute
I
or
don't know,
longer, so even if you
adjustments.
release that tension after an adjustment, using too much on those adjustments will build up over time and can lead to
Thank you
lockout.
for the 9 months, Akufi.
Scenarios like air voltaic or wisphere were fantastic for making me more aware of what different levels of tension felt like and how much I actually needed for each movement.
Not gonna lie, 99% of my knowledge of tension comes from maybe like 80% actually comes from playing air scenarios. You have to develop good tension management for air. I wasn't kidding when I said air voltaic is essential. It was like the foundation where like I'm like, okay, why am I so shaky? Oh, I'm over tensing throughout the run and not releasing it enough. I'm entering lockout. Why can't I make these vertical adjustments smoothly? Oh, I'm too tense. It was this continuous like troubleshooting of tension management by just playing the scenario over and over and thinking about it. It was so impactful. I really can't overstate how much it helped.
I just had a shower thought of like, what would your words per minute be if we never met?
Probably what it was before, about 140.
Really? You were 140?
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
I thought you were like 110 and QWERTY.
On type racer, yeah. 110, 120.
Okay, so monkey type then.
Monkey type, yeah.
I see.
You need tension management for your typing. I do kind of bash the keys.
Nah, it's a myth.
I've actually tried that, the Hunter. Didn't work. I don't know why. It just crashes my PC. I did actually, Liberty. I want to make a video about it at some point.
Yeah. We scripted it like a year ago now.
Longer. I think it's quite good too.
We both learned a new layout at the same time. And the climax of the video is we race. We learned it through different methods though, which is the interesting bit.
Yeah. Never
With
did the
a
race,
single
though.
No.
I think at the time I would have won. Now you win for sure.
No, I don't know. My typing is so bad recently.
Oh, you're saying that to me. It's Edit of Colmac, Queasy. I learned it using Tarmac, which is like progressive learning for alternate layouts. It'll swap like 4 to 6 keys each time. It was actually really fun. And I got up to at least 100 words per minute by day 3 of each Tarmac stage.
Oh my god, no. No.
If you type in Tarmac typing, you should find it. Otherwise, you'll find
Heck no. Learn Canary. Outdated ass layouts.
a little.
Recommended Colmac in the big 2025.
Oh, I can't believe it.
Sorry, I hate that phrase so much.
The only thing you can say that for is fucking Dvorak.
Okay, that is
Kinda
okay,
hate
that is
it.
true. That is true.
This video helped me so much to understand why my flicks are inconsistent. Thank you. OP18K 2v2. is not worth it. Just to be blunt, it is a very slight upgrade. It's like, think of it like a refresh more than a V2. I think if they were to release a proper V2, it would be called, you know, OP2 8K. This is like them fixing some of the minor issues, updating it to the latest tech. They haven't retooled anything or made any significant weight changes. It's a nice refresh. It's appreciated, but I don't think it's game changing.
I think it's really cool for the modders.
Oh, for sure. The PCB changes actually are really nice.
So can you snap off the back? Is that what they were saying?
I think so.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I like it. And it's cool that they're thinking of this stuff when making.
By the way, Levity, I think you should probably do either Colmec DH or Canary for ortho, split ortho. I think it's really nice.
DH is a good idea. I already bought it for a friend. I mean, it's a good mouse. It's better than the V1. It's just not worth like getting if you have a V1.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Thoughts on arm sleeves? I don't use them and I don't really have a need to. My arm doesn't really touch the pad generally, so I have no like friction to worry about.
I was actually shocked how many CS pros are using them now.
Yeah.
I want to know what pads they're using because...
QCK GSR generally, I think.
Okay.
Faxi
That's
PA.
pretty good.
Yeah.
If anyone's using a Zero, I have to look into it.
You gotta figure out what fucking tech they're doing, right? Like,
yes!
do they just want like the ultimate high friction experience, or like what are they doing? No, I rested on my armrest though, so it's like slightly above. Kind of excited to learn. It'll be rough at first, but it's so worth it.
You're definitely the type to enjoy it. And I say that with love, of course.
PV control sphere, congrats.
Exception, tension issues over a longer time frame had much more mental.
Let me go back up.
With a single exception, tension issues over a longer time frame had much more mental than physical causes for me. Things like bad habits I'd built up or issues I just wasn't conscious of. Some examples that I've talked about here are death gripping your mouse, snapping very quickly to angles, or not releasing tension after fights. But there are a lot more, and I don't have the time to go through them all in this video.
This one is prediction leading to increased tension because I have to make snappier adjustments. I don't know if that was obvious through the gameplay, but that's the issue
tension after fights. But there are a lot more, and I don't have the time to go through them all in this video. In my experience, the best way to identify these was reflection. A lot of the time, these issues lead to...
This is funny. This is a real clip from a stream of mine back in 2021. Worst whiff I've ever had, probably. And it was on stream.
It was with Excel, right?
It was, yeah. I was trying Mouse Excel.
It's fucked up. This is your worst whiff because it looks like you're just going for
a lot
something
of the
silly,
time, these issues
you know?
lead to dying in game, which
It's
is actually kind
pretty
of a
bad. It's pretty bad.
There's a whiff of mine from a stream that still lives in my head rent free. Where
Oh
I
my
was so
God.
bad I actually ended the stream.
Do you think at this moment you could grab any mouse in the market and still perform in a similar way? I could perform decently. I'm sure I could get like Voltaic for example, on most mice. And even on like crazy fingertip mice, I was still getting like close to my PBs. But there are definitely some mice, like the ZA13 for example, I do significantly worse in fine tracking compared to OP1, just because I can't make those fingertip adjustments while in claw grip. And that is the big limiter for me. Like anything too big, anything too bulky at the back, I can't do those micro movements, and that is a pretty big limiter. Other than that though, yeah, probably. And you know, there's a baseline skill level I probably won't be able to be pushed below by peripheral changes. Like when I was playing cardboard mouse pad and $5 mouse for that video we scrapped.
Oh.
positive here. It gives you time to think about if you were too tense or not, figure out why it came about, and make a note to release that tension in the future.
I don't know if this example really works. This is on 5 centimeters. And I definitely
one
look kind
exception
of
to
tense,
this
but I don't know
mental
if I
rule
look tense
would be
enough for
or
it to be
not,
like obvious.
figure out why it came about, and make a note to release that tension
good
in the
enough.
future.
Both
The
of those
one
things
exception
fun
to this
and
mental
data.
rule was muscle group utilization. I used to play with only my arm, then swapped to only my wrist when I started using a higher sensitivity. And no matter what I tried, I just couldn't have good tension management when only using a single muscle group. There simply was nowhere to offset tension to, and a lot of the time you won't have a chance to just stop moving mid-fight and release that tension without offsetting it to a different body part. It's like trying to run a relay race solo. You're probably going to lose. I recommend trying to use at least 2 muscle groups, but honestly, I found that I got a lot better at skills I was really weak at after actively training all 3.
Thank you, Clay Gontaz, for the Prime sub.
I like the question of like which artist would be the closest speech to the Razor's Stride. I'm like, oh, it's the Hien, but not the Hien.
Because it is the Hien. I guess then Otsu, but they do kind of different things. Do you 502 with all weights? Where do you benchmark? Oh, that's tough. I'd be surprised if I wasn't Grandmaster. I'd be surprised if I was Nova. I think it's doable, but tough.
Now for the hard part, actually being able to release tension in the middle of a flick or a track. How I went about this personally was with aim trainers. I played scenarios like Waldo TS or Bean TS for flicks, as well as the aforementioned tracking scenarios, and actively thought about how much tension I was using or when I was releasing it. I don't think aim trainers are absolutely needed for
TS
this
in
though.
Valorant, by the way.
I know that thinking
Holy.
about your aim when you're playing is generally considered a bad thing, and I agree. I try to keep my mind on the match when I'm in one, but when practicing, whether that's in death matches or aim trainers, I've found that actively thinking about my mechanics, experimenting with different variables, figuring out what works best and focusing on making that a habit to be incredibly valuable. So in those death matches, I might try experimenting with how early within the flick I can release my tension before I start to underflick. Or on those Kovac scenarios, I'll see how much tension I can use when starting a flick before it has any negative impacts. This process of experimenting with different ideas, seeing how they change my own mechanics and reflecting on that to see what works and what doesn't, has been invaluable to both my understanding of tension within aiming and honestly, aiming as a whole. And if you take one thing away from this video, it should be that. Don't be afraid to experiment with your mechanics. It forces you to actively think about your aim and what you can do to improve it, which, at the end of the day, is what practice is all about.
Little sync at the end there. Pop going. I think that was a good ending. I think it is my strongest besides the
Shimmy?
top 10 aim trainers and the shimmy ending. I think the shimmy ending is my best there.
I'm glad you're getting into this habit of like ending on a really strong note because it matters a lot.
I think so too. If anyone in the chat knows of Jacob Geller, he actually has, I'm following his Nebula. He did a talk on video creation and he emphasized like he puts the most time by far into the ends of his videos, not the starts, the ends, because like that is what the viewer will be left with. That's what they'll be chewing on, and he wants his videos to like stay in people's minds. And if any of you have watched Jacob Geller videos, you will know that it fucking works. So they sit in your head for a long time, and I think that's why. So yeah, I've put a lot more time into my outros recently.
Pretty much every single video I've ever scripted for main channel, I always try to pull like a life lesson out of it. Even if it makes like barely any sense, I think it just makes, exactly what you just said.
Shimmy videos, fucking cinema. Thank you. I really do think it's my best work, and keen to make more videos like that. Not in the sense of like I will catch every Kovacs cheater, but like, you know, telling stories and trying to be more captivating with them.
Someone left a comment that was like, I've seen what happened with Carl Drops. You're going to become a drama channel now. Like, yeah, I don't...
Yeah.
I was pissed.
I'll invent more aim training cheaters to expose. Yeah, sure, buddy. Massey exposed for cheating. Will you buy the if you want to KV2? It's on my desk right now, actually. Since it comes with a new feature, something about 2500 FPS. I haven't heard, actually. To me, they feel basically the same besides the scroll wheel. That's the biggest difference. V2 is an objective upgrade, but not by much.
Are you using the old PCB, actually?
No, new PCB, old shell.
I see.
The part of practicing each individual arm group got me a little confused to suffer different sensitivity. Roughly, yeah. So, like for Smoothbot, for example, you can isolate the actual arm moving aspect of it by going lower. So, like 60 cm, you have to move your arm, right? It's like arm workout. And then you can go 30 cm immediately after to practice arm precision because you're still in the habit of like, okay, I'm going to use my arm, but you have to be a lot more precise with it, right? Because you're in a higher sense, you're still going to use your arm. So, that's kind of how I go about it. Varying high and low sense to like establish a habit, get used to using it, and then train that muscle group in isolation. I hope that makes sense. If someone is using mouse acceleration, would you recommend them to turn it off? I'd recommend trying turning it off because I had a bit of a epiphany when I first turned it off. So
Me too.
um
It's interesting though, because like we both use it for a while. And
yeah,
I don't
think
know
longer.
when in that process it would be most beneficial to turn it off, because it was beneficial to turn it on originally.
Yeah, it was just tricky.
But I would agree.
I definitely kept it on for too long, in my opinion.
Me too. I had them for way too long. Watching my old Gundam clips is like, holy fuck, I am obviously using mouse acceleration. I cannot.
It's always funny when you can tell. Same with glass. I'm like,
Yeah,
that person's
yeah.
playing glass in this static room. It's quite funny. What do you think of DPI deviation? I think it's kind of overblown. DPI deviation will occur between mice, obviously, but also between copies of the same mouse. And here's what most people don't know. Between mouse pads, they change your DPI. Or mouse skates, you know? This was a fucking complete not a headache when testing mouse pad friction levels. But for the end user, doesn't matter. You'll never notice. There are so many factors that are more significant than DPI deviation.
Gundam is kind of... Oh, I'd love to see you play Gundam. You'd be so good. It's sort of playable. There's a...
It's called Side 7, community run. I was really hoping to get some community games going, but I don't know if there's like file distribution
Yeah.
yet.
They're trying to implement casual matchmaking, and that might be enough to get me to try. But, you know, it's daunting when it's just all of the old head players playing pugs and stuff. We'll see.
Thoughts on glass mouse pads? Oh boy. I have a video planned. Crux of the video is I think they're okay. I think a lot of people are wrong about them though. I don't think it is a more pure aiming experience. I don't think it'll, you know, transform your mechanics. I don't think they're universally better. I don't think the peak of human skill will be achieved on glass. I don't think it's any more or less likely than it being achieved on cloth.
I think the way people talk about friction is just really wrong.
I agree. It's like it's a bad thing in the
Right.
limiter. When it's a tool, you work with it, you know?
Exactly.
There are a lot of trade-offs that come from glass pads that just aren't talked about at all, you know? People say it makes like aiming harder and you got to adjust to it, but like it's not adjusting, it's relearning. It's very foundational in how it affects your mechanics, and I think people don't get that.
That's well said.
And yeah, I think it's good for some people. Some people will love it. I don't. I fucking hate it. And the amount of times I've had people say like, why do you care about artisan? Just buy a glass, lol. Has driven me fucking insane.
I think for a good number of games, it won't limit you. But there are games where it's just going to be harder for basically no benefit.
I agree.
And especially for consistency.
But yeah, it is very foundationally different. And just because like people go from cloth to glass and glass is like challenging and they're like, oh, glass must be harder. People go from glass to cloth and it's challenging. And their reaction is like, oh, I'm just adjusted to glass. You know, why doesn't it work both ways?
What'd she say fuck me for?
Can remember please host community lobby of some kind? I would love to. I think finals banquet I would love to do a little revival for. My favorite main in the game.
Wait, I can be the June commentator.
True.
Holy fuck.
When I went from glass to cloth, the zero felt faster. What the fuck?
What?
I do have Twitch. Orbed, welcome.
Now I've got a Heian from somebody who waterlogged their zero so badly that when you push down on it, like weeks later, it still secretes
You told
liquid.
me it's fucking insane. How do they do that?
How do you do that?
New Finals LTM. I don't like it because it's kind of killed everything else.
That's the life of being in Australia. It looks fun though. I've seen some
It does.
crazy clips. Some guy in the Discord named Yak FPS, should look at his clip dumps. The one of the LTM was insane, and his tracking stuff is like so precise. First time I ever wanted to play light.
Would you say lighter mouse, slower skates would feel the same as heavy mouse? Speed skates? Not really. Lighter mouse kind of changes friction universally, right? You experience a equal lowering of static and dynamic. Not really with skates. They
Also
don't really do
momentum.
that. That's a good point too. Yo, just pop by. I want to say the videos are amazing. Thank you. Appreciate it. Pingu is in Australia.
Hello.
One sec. I think overall I'm happy with the video. I think the comments kind of tricked me in retrospect by, I don't know, making me think I didn't
told
explain
you.
it well. or
You gotta
anything.
listen to me. This always happens. YouTube comments are evil.
Yeah, I don't know. This
Especially
one
the
was
bigger you get, the
worse.
worse the comments get.
Because, like, I don't know. I think the video flows really well. I think I segmented it pretty well. There were a couple mistakes. There were a couple things that, like, looking back, I should have done this differently. But it's pretty minor. There's not that much that's like, this is shit. I don't think there's anything that's like, this is shit. It's like, this is a incorrectly read line or something, or, you know, stuff like that. I think for most people, it's been a pretty good video. And it's doing well
For
again,
sure,
which has
yeah.
been nice.
I think they also don't recognize that you're not making a textbook. You're making a piece of
True.
entertainment. And that will change the way you go about explaining certain things and the
Yeah.
way you format certain things.
Have you seen Buckshot's tension guide?
I have.
I think it's a very good resource. There is zero chance 100,000 people have clicked on it or read it or would get through it. Nothing against Buckshot. He's fantastic. But, you know, his language used, the way he explains things is very high level. He doesn't care about simplifying the topic. He just wants to get the info across. And nothing wrong with that. It's the format he wanted the guide to take.
For sure.
But it's not what I'm doing. And I think it's what people expect me to do in video form, which
Yeah. There's a
cannot
big
do.
difference. And I think appealing to a broader audience has a lot of value. And making concepts approachable to people who aren't as well versed in the space is also really valuable. And I have tried Obsidian Pros. I made a skate video where, or it's like, I'm probably gonna have to redo a lot of it. But the Obsidian Pros were the butt of the joke like 4 different times. Whenever I reference bad skates, I show the Obsidian Pros on screen. First time is me putting the trash. Second time is me throwing it across the room into the trash. Third time is me stabbing it with a knife. I hate them. They're terrible. I kind of don't think there's such a good thing as a good unwiped skate.
I kind of agree.
If
I'll
it does
push on
exist,
them.
it remains to be seen. And it's like not so much the smoothness, it's the stickiness, the suction feeling that it has.
I agree. I haven't used them as much, but I have been kind of like confused because it transforms like glass, fast mass pad, low friction into like mud. But yeah, Buckshot's guide, I want to talk about this actually. I credit him in the description. Originally, I was going to make a video that was an adaptation of his guide. That didn't quite manifest. I got some of the ideas for here in that, like, you know, tension budgeting as a concept, lockout as a concept. I have built on those ideas for my own video, obviously, and also, you know, changed a lot of the explanation. So he describes it as like, you know, gears of a car. He fucking loves cars. And that's how he kind of explains it. Like, you go between different gears, that's your muscle groups. And how, you know, different gears will do different things. That's his analogy. I swapped it out for sprinting and jogging because I'm not that familiar with cars. And, you know, I think it's a bit more approachable. It's more universal. I don't think anyone will be reading that who has never, I don't know,
Run?
I don't think anyone's going to be watching my video who's never gone for a run, but there will definitely be people who read his guide, and, you know, even gear sticks are getting phased out now. So
That's true.
that's one example of the kind of thing you have to think about when making videos for a broader audience. Phoebe, I learned so much. Thank you.
I don't know if I fully understood what the gears did until I played a racing game.
That's funny.
Did it really?
Did your parents have
I kind of just assumed like
manual?
no. It's
Okay, that makes
really
sense.
rare in the US actually. Not so rare
Both
here.
my parents have manuals, actually. It's always been quite a intuitive concept for me because, you know, I would watch them change the gears.
Yeah. I always thought just like higher, faster. All the time.
I saw someone ask about spiders, actually.
I was cleaning the room recently. I did a whole reorganization, super deep clean, and we went into the bed. There were 2 spiders living under there. that were
Well, they were dead.
One of them was alive.
Really?
Yeah. Amelia, your sister, saw one and was just like, "Give me the vacuum."
Moving to Australia? Oh, that'll be a fucking headache, won't it?
It's kind of a nightmare.
You'll be here for a few more months at least.
Mm-hmm.
And this is funny, actually. There is a long-term potential student visa. And I said, like, okay, if you go to uni, I'll come with you and I'll maybe study as well. And I mentioned this to Jadie, and she's like, all right, if you two come to uni in Melbourne, I'll come study too. So we could have a fun
Raw input
goes to
college arc.
school.
That's really funny. Do you call it college here, actually? Is there a distinction?
I don't know. I've always just called it uni.
I see.
A little misleading because they imply the use of muscle groups and mutually exclusive and they often use at the same time. This is something I actually want to talk about too, and thank you for reminding me. I did not get the chance to disambiguate muscle group utilization being a blended thing. It's really tricky. I couldn't work it into this video. I really fucking tried, but there was nowhere where it made sense other than like pausing the video and being like, hi, disclaimer, I want to correct misinfo. Because, you know, an arm flick is not going to be purely arm. It's going to be a little wrist and a lot arm. And how much of each you use will determine a lot of characteristics about the movement, you know? Wrist aimers will probably still use their arm and fingertips a little. Even if they think they only use their wrist, because it's very natural for a lot of movements to use multiple things. And it's the ratio of how much you use of each that changes.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not get a chance to disambiguate that, and I don't know when I will, so it can go here for now. Even paid guide. Let me have a look.
I remember I got a video on my Twitter feed of like some Australian content, and it was like, oh, you know, come to Australia, you'll see this. It was just this massive fucking blue spider that appeared in a single frame and it scared the fuck out of me. Why are they blue? Also, somebody asked about the Fender ASIM. I'm currently rating Fingertip mouse tier list where I talk about every fingertip mouse like fairly in depth, and I want to like that mouse more. I just can't. It's way too wide for what it is. The low button height and how much they pushed away is really cool, but I just don't know who it would be for, I guess. To me, it seems to restrict range of motion like almost no matter what your grip is, and doesn't give enough stability to make it worth it over the safer shapes. To me, it was just really uncomfortable. People with bigger hands, maybe, but like I still think the Max is a better shape than the ASIM is just so strange. Like they added the pinky thing and then like that's it. They're done.
Oh no, that's horrible. Oh my god.
3 frames.
I tried actively thinking about the tension when I'm using a PB on smooth while nice. I'm trying to understand different muscle group combos and how they affect my aim. Absolutely, that's perfect. Exactly what I did. Experimentation, reflecting, what does this do and why? Perfect, 100%.
Didn't Amelia have a friend that was like,
Oh my god,
you
yeah.
know what I'm talking about?
I do. So we are not rural, but I'm not in Sydney, just like as an example. I'm not in a big city. And both my sister and I have a lot of friends that are definitely country. You know, there's a lot of farms around here. And my sister went to one of those for a party of some kind, birthday party. And her friend shows her into a room. And there's this massive, like, fuck off spider in the corner. I was just like, what's that? And she's like, oh, just a spider. He sits there. And he would have been like, what, palm-sized?
I was actually thinking of the other Amelia.
The other Amelia? What spider story was that?
Went to like a friend's house, and then her friend was like, "Oh, have you seen the spider?" And like, her friend's brother had the spider as a pet. You remember that? They like coexisted, and he would like feed it. And it was a huntsman, right?
Oh my god. Huntsmen aren't that dangerous. I had one
They hunt
stuck
men.
in between stuck in between the gauze and the glass of my window for a couple months. And I don't know how I got there, but I would go to sleep next to the window.
I don't like that.
And the spider was just chilling. Well, the gauze side was on the outside, so if he was going anywhere, it would be outside.
Unless he broke through
Break the glass?
Yes.
Shattered it? Okay.
with their venom.
They don't, like, have much.
I have a nightmare story with a spider too, where I was driving to pick up Laura's sister from school, and I see movement, like to my left. I'm like, what's that? And it emerges from under, like, what are those even for? Like when you pull down the top bit of the car, it like blocks the sun, I guess. It was just sitting under the one right in front of the driver's seat, and I have a horrific arachnophobia. And then throughout the trip, it slowly moves more and more to my right, like closer to my head. And so I'm driving tilted over about 30 degrees because I don't want to be anywhere near this thing like jumping on me. And the worst part of it is that I was informed there was a type of spider that was like top 3 most deadly,
Nah,
called well, that's what I was told. Called the whitetail. And this one had like white speckling on it. I hadn't never seen a photo of a whitetail. And I'm like, is this it? Is this the poison one? So as soon as I reached my destination, I jumped into the passenger seat. I just stood there. I didn't know where it was. I could not seem no matter where I looked. And he flies out from behind the driver's seat towards me, like attached to the back of the seat. And I just like, nope, I'm out of the car.
Oh my god. Nah, that, you know, it's fucking scary, but most spiders here aren't bad. And you learn pretty quickly how to identify the ones that like actually are a problem. For anyone who knows Aussie spiders, we don't get funnel webs here. They don't exist this far out, thankfully. So that's one thing we don't have to worry about. Redbacks are the worst that we get. And they're more common than I'd like, admittedly. There was one time my mum was showing me a bunch of boxes that she was going to throw out just to make sure that I was like, I didn't need any of them for selling anything. And there's a redback in the box, and she's like, oh, Laura, check this out. There's a redback in here. Just like picks up the box and shows me the redback, and it's
That's
fucking
insane.
huge. Oh my god.
I hate it.
It's teeny and has red. Oh, they probably won't. They don't kill you though, do they?
Then you die. It's crazy.
How often did you see snakes? I have seen one in my town, and there was.
You've seen it?
Yeah. I was walking
God.
home from school, and it was in the fucking long grass.
Within a week of being here, I have started to have that like, all right, don't go in the long grass. There might be a snake.
No, you gotta avoid it. It's just better to be safe. At my primary school, I went to, I can probably say the town. It's called Mandurama. And if you look it up on the, like, what's it called? TripAdvisor, like places to go. The only thing listed is the bar. That's it. That's the whole like things to do in Mandurama. It's a town of about 200 people. We had a nature garden, and I loved to walk through there. And probably once a month, we had to get the groundskeeper in to come kill a snake that was in the nature garden. Anyway,
There's that other school where they have like a snake catcher on call. You know what I mean? They like
think
they have
so.
to like shut down the school and get the snake catcher to come by.
Oh my
And then it was in like the girls' bathroom or something, wasn't it?
yeah, that was in mum's school. Thought you would have seen more than me. No, not really. I stay away from them. They have been a lot around me, but I don't see them. I see more lizards. Pretty sure one bite from back in death without medical attention. I might believe that, but I also think like you're gonna get medical attention if you live like, people have the anti-venom around. You go to emergency and say, hey, I've been bitten by a redback. They're gonna, fast track you through the line. How do you deal with spiders out there? I'm not awful with spiders. You're worse than me, but I don't like them. I generally just grab my dad and say like, hey dad, there's a spider. Can you get rid of it? And he's like, oh yeah, sure. We have a little spider catcher. It's just like a bunch of bristles on the end of a stick. You pull the handle and it opens and closes. You can just pick them up in that and they can't escape. So if I have to deal with them, I will pick them up in that and then put them outside.
Looking at the artisan brush has reminded me like Artisan's working on a sleeve, and I'm really excited
That's
because
gonna be so good.
for some reason they just are insane at everything. Like, why is even their brush clearing everybody?
Yeah, I don't know.
Doesn't make sense.
And they don't even sell it. It's just like they gave it to me when they shipped out a couple mouse pads, and it's like the best mouse pad brush I've ever used.
But that made me
horsehair,
want to ask:
apparently.
are there any brands that we think are on par or better than Artisan in terms of experience and quality?
I think the contender is Endgame Gear.
Really?
I do.
In terms of mouse pads?
Mouse pads. Oh, that's tough. I was thinking overall experience
Okay,
because
no,
you're talking
no.
about like, then probably not. Because like Artisan has mouse pads that I don't like, but I get. Like Lethal Gaming Gear, for example, they obviously make good mouse pads, but they have some complete swings and misses in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't know if any of them are quite there.
Is Reading Keyboard the best keyboards you can get for competitive? They're the best I'm bothering with right now. Apparently the Venom 68G PCB is like insane or whatever, but it's a PCB and I'm not bothered to, assemble it. You excited for the repo? I actually asked Unleashed and I should be getting one early, so
Let's go.
couple weeks, I hope. Pretty keen.
Artisan probably isn't a gamer, he's a scientist.
That's funny.
It's interesting. I wonder how much input Unleashed has. Because he's actually quite good.
Yeah, he is. I've been impressed with his quick gameplay.
And I think Tekasai was telling me that one of the main reasons that his products are so inventive and well tested for aim is because he just has a bunch of top Overwatch players on his team. They give feedback and stuff.
It's quite cool.
Speaking of which, he's
What's he
releasing
thinking?
skates soon. He just said that the skates with hitscan are
Yeah,
done,
I saw that.
and that's really
I'm
exciting.
pretty keen because, so far I've been quite impressed with his ability to innovate and push boundaries, Like, he kind of, I think it's fair to say Tekasai revolutionized glass mouse pads.
I agree.
Experimented with different properties, bringing them to the forefront, and really focusing on them for a product has done fucking wonders for people's understanding of, what glass can be,
I'd be really curious to see what the glass market would look like without him.
Probably just
I
all
think
hype,
Skypad 4 would
yeah.
be worse than what it is, and that would be still the best.
I think so. I might have a good stream. Thank you.
Bye.
Zywu mousepad? I've never used it, sorry.
He's got a mouse pad?
I think so. I think it says sign woo on it. Thoughts on glass mouse pad, never saw you use one. I talked about this a bit ago. Short answer is that I think they're pretty overhyped. I don't think they're bad, but I think people misunderstand them as like being objectively better or having a higher skill ceiling when I don't think that's true. And I think, you know, there are pretty massive trade-offs. But they are good. And, you know, they have their place. New Techless vid dropped today. Oh fuck yeah, I'll go to watch.
It's kind of
I really like Techless. He's really nice. We've chatted a bit about, I don't know, stuff. I messaged him because of his polling rate video. Been similar. Why do you stream at 2 a.m? Oh, I didn't mean to. I was gonna stream earlier, but I took a nap, so.
Tiger's the one who gave me the coat nose incident
Goodness. Oh.
in Frankfurt.
Oh, I remember. Should my fingers be touching the pad? I don't think it's a bad thing. Favorite speed pad right now? Infinity My Speed or the Raiden? Seen an Optimum video about a Zero mouse? I did. I'm very keen to try it. And I think it's so fucking cool that he just like, I don't know, decided he wanted to make a mouse and then did it. I think it's really cool and I don't know, good on him. I'm happy for him. Optimum on raw input. I would love to get him on, but I don't know. We've only talked twice. I don't know him well enough to ask. Viscose mouse one. It would just be an OP one. I'm not gonna lie.
Is there anything you would change about the shape? Like, would you want to try thinner?
I would actually, yeah. And I think I might actually like having flare here.
At the front?
At the front.
Like a final mouse flare? It goes out a little bit?
I don't know. Not angled in the same way, but just like having something for my pinky to kind of rest on so that it's not tucked under, it's sitting here.
I see.
I'll actually show that on the hand cam.
Orbital? Get on that?
Because this is like my one gripe with my mouse grip. Having it like tuck in is kind of uncomfortable sometimes. I think having it sit here would feel a bit more natural. But that would be the most awkward flare.
Reverse
of all
NPO1S?
Kinda.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
I'm still quite curious to try that shape. I feel like that KPU are like the only ergo shapes that have tried something.
I agree.
That
The rest
isn't
are just like easy.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy, honestly. I guess they're really risky, but
Master Hitman. It took some getting used to, I'm not gonna lie. I think how like my fingers are, I naturally have very bent fingers. I think that plays a role in making it like possible in the first place.
You mean like laterally?
Yeah, you see what I mean? Like look at my pinky. It like sticks this way and it's natural. My other hand does it. Yeah. Oh, should I stream again? So, firstly, my middle finger is like bent as fuck. I don't know if it shows. I don't want to flip you all off, but it's horrible. And then here, it doesn't really show. It sticks out here and then like cuts this way. Which is probably the only reason why my grip is like possible for me.
Genetic advantage with the bent middle finger.
My fingers are fucking malformed specifically to hold a mouse.
Maybe actually. You think so?
No. It's on both hands.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Technique and scoring. I focus technique primarily.
I think technique will eventually lead to scores, but not necessarily the other way around.
I agree. You can get to Grandmaster with pretty shit technique. I have a weird question. I have really bad OCD and usually upload mask on the left side. Is this important for you? I don't know why I was thinking about this the other day because I was watching JD's video and she has a hand cam on the right side. I don't know why I have it on the left. Does it bother you out of interest? Is it like a
What's the average?
OCD triggering thing? Is left average?
I don't know. I think it is.
I think right would be average.
Does Severe have a hand cam?
Matty does, and it's on the left.
Okay.
I think.
Who
But he
are the
might
other
have-
known hand cammers?
I don't know.
Riley?
I feel like people who get a hand cam in this community have probably seen my video, so I'm probably biasing them towards
Well,
left side hand cams.
maybe, but hand cams have been around for a while.
I want the right hand on the right side. Fair point. Fair point.
I used to invert my webcam because it just felt better to me, and I would get
That's
so
funny.
many questions about left hand aiming.
I remember Juicer got the same questions.
That's funny. Nav just said the same thing, sharing our one brain cell.
My fingers are both curved inwards. And my brothers and my grandparents. I think my sister has the same thing as me, actually. So,
The middle finger?
yeah.
Huh.
No,
Strange.
maybe not. Her hands are very different to mine. She got my dad's hands.
I see.
Alright, it's getting very late, everyone. Thank you all. Shimmy video another time, I reckon. It's too late.
We should do some more Q&A streams, though.
Yeah, I am kind of surprised people had so many unrelated questions. I thought it'd be mostly about like tension management and stuff.
I'm not that surprised.
Thank you all. I will have this timestamped and up on my second channel within a couple days. I'm not gonna put it on the VODs channel. I feel like this is like a pretty info dense stream that people can actually get something from. Oh, actually, let me do an announcement. Hang on, Viscose VODs.
Oh, true.
For anyone who wants to see Kovacs VODs or stream VODs, here you go. I'll be putting a lot of scores there for my Kovacs benchmarks, and I'll be putting all of my stream uploads, just like raw uploads there.
I'm the first 3 subscribers, by the way.
No VOD for this, there will be.
How are you going to edit this, though? Because we just went off topic 95% of the time.
Good question. I don't know. I'll see what I can cut down. But I will post the raw VOD for this as well.
Okay.
Alright. Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Want to read anyone?